Dr. Monica, good to meet you. Good to
You
meet you.
too.
Yeah. Can I just call you Monica, or do I have to call you Doc?
Please,
Okay.
please do. No one, literally, no one calls me that.
Nobody calls you Dr. Monica?
No, no,
That's disrespectful. Some people should call you that. What are you talking about?
no. I'm good. I'm good with Monica.
Some people they like, they're a little sensitive about that, because
Okay.
they put in a lot of work, and you kind of build up that identity. I have the white coat. Remember she was saying that yesterday, Cisco, last five sesh, the with the veterinary and having the white coat and getting the degree. So she was looking forward
Yeah.
to that kind of respect, right?
Yeah. No, I'm good. Monica's
Mhm.
perfect.
Hey, so Monica, you use the same wine cup?
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
I'm like,
God!
I have
Nice.
LaCroix too. Is that LaCroix? I do have that too. I have water, but like I didn't know like if you were like you're this monk-ish beach
I'm a
and
monkey. What?
and so full of like wisdom and I'm like I don't even know. And then I saw you like tipping it back, and I'm like, look at me, I also have this, and I was like, oh, it's a sign.
Amazing.
Cisco, what are you thinking of her vibes? I think like just all our vibes are just attracting
Yeah,
our people, man. This
yeah.
is crazy. She's a
She's
vibe
very
samurai, bro.
chill. She feels grounded, down to earth. So I'm excited for the conversation.
You
Yes.
too.
You know why? Because let's Monica. So you're very interesting. And first of all,
Yeah.
let's Cisco. Let's give her a preview in terms of what it takes to put together a show, a vibe sesh, so she feels special in terms of what we're doing here. Cisco, go ahead.
So for Vibe Sesh every Monday and Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Bruno here, the Vibe Samurai, he's putting a lot of the effort forward. He likes to curate interesting people across the feed or people
You.
that follow him. And he just leads with his curiosity. So we've
Mm-hmm.
talked to so many kinds of people, and he likes to do a deep dive on your account and whatever links you have. And he's a master threader. He has a journey of questions, and sometimes we get to it, and sometimes
Okay.
we completely never get to it.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
just
Okay.
let the vibes of the conversation go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
I love curiosity. I love
Mm-hmm.
literally
yes.
I don't have a stand. I'm never on. Have you noticed I'm never on my videos? It's like I'm doing
Yeah.
voice
Why?
because I don't like to be on camera. So I don't have one of those like stands that people use. So I have a stack of books holding up my
Oh
phone.
my God.
And
Why are
but
you
one of
so
them
ghetto, bro? Why are you so ghetto? Why don't you just buy a fucking stand? Why
that's so
did you
OT though. That's so like
Who's
occupational therapy.
OT?
Like
Oh,
like like
she said that's so OT. Like, we know what that means, bro.
but like one of the books that I have is called Cultivating Curiosity. So I feel like it's like
Wow.
vibes, right? Like I feel like
Wow.
Be right
Yeah.
there, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Monica, but I do feel like that. I feel like at the end of the day, you're all about vibes, right? Emotion. No, really, like emotional
yeah.
things, whether it's good vibes, bad vibes, you're all about vibes. And your story is just so amazing. And I don't know where to begin, but like, you are vibes. You've been studying vibes, right? Emotional, and you can go into detail, but I'm breaking it down just as vibes. And you were a late diagnosed ADHD person, and now
Yes.
you came into this field with a mission to help children pay attention and understand their brains, right?
Yeah. And
Um,
just on the the ADHD part, like can I run it back for a second? I didn't mean to cut you
yeah.
off, Cisco, but
No,
like
no, it goes
can I know
everywhere.
about like Cisco
Yeah,
for a second? Because
sure.
I know
Yeah.
I've watched so many of your videos, and actually I just my 14-year-old son who's autistic, he's like my barometer of everything that's good and bad. Like he's
Uh-huh.
amazing. He's absolutely brilliant, like this amazing philosophical mind. And I was just like telling him like he's on game with his friends, and I'm like, you got to kind of be quiet because I'm gonna do this thing. Look, this is the guy. And it was like your video
Mhm.
about the monk with one eye, and like and he's like he's awesome. So like First of all, he's
Your
vibes.
son said that? He said, I'm
Yeah.
awesome.
Wow.
I am
He's like,
so honored. I am
and
so honored. This philosophical barometer, this person that she considers, think about how, what an honor, the barometer, philosophical mind at 14 years old. And he likes the Vibe Samurai. I'm
oh,
doing
he's
something
awesome.
right, guys.
No, like he was when he was little, he understands like Buddhist concepts. Like
Mm,
I was like, what's your favorite number? You understand Buddhism, right? Like you have a
yeah, pretty
understanding.
good.
But I was like, what's your favorite number when he was little? And he was like 108. And you know what that number is, right? It's like a
No,
sacred.
I don't
Well,
know that level
it's
of
like a
Buddhism.
sacred
Uh-huh.
Buddhist number, right? Like when they have the big, like the malas that you do
Uh-huh.
your meditation, there's 108 beads on it, right? It's a very sacred
Ah.
whatever. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I just went off on another tangent. But Cisco, like, can you tell me your deal? Because I kind of feel like I need to know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
no
sure.
hard deal. And by the way, before you go, hey,
Yeah.
Monica, we called the ethics board, but they wouldn't return my calls. But I think it's okay because for the past 3 Vibe sessions, we've been using Cisco as an experimental guinea pig because he has a lot of real issues. And I really think, Monica, today you're going to get a lot of help and a lot of insights. I'm not kidding you.
Okay.
I've studied
Okay.
this woman. But anyway, so go ahead, Cisco.
Okay.
I'm not talking too much.
Sure. So, I'm 25. I'm half Bruno's age, and our journey
Bro, why
together.
do you gotta start like
No,
that?
no, no.
That sounds so
It's gonna
old.
stumble into
Oh, okay, sorry.
appreciation. It's gonna stumble into
Sorry.
appreciation because so for the past year on Twitter, which is now X, we've been hosting a Vibe Sesh X Spaces, which was audio only, and I've been his co-host of that entire journey. So we've spoken to just hundreds of people, even a stage that can get up to 10 people. And so he's been helping me get out of my shell because I was very introverted. So I like to think of myself as I'm a Vibe Samurai in training. And
Okay.
I guess I've done a good enough job that, now that he's transitioned to Instagram where he blew up, he was more
Mm,
low key on X, but he blew up on Instagram and TikTok. And then he just transitioned to Vibe Sessions being on video on here. And so he's
okay.
continued on this platform and, he's asked me to continue being a co-pilot. So I'm here to just practice speaking and to meet new people and to ask
I
good
love it.
questions. That's really what a Vibe Samurai is about. Just leading
Yeah.
with my curiosity and trying to ask
Yeah.
great questions. I think of it like I try to give you a layup so you can dunk. I'm gonna try
Okay.
to
Okay.
ask you good
Like that.
questions.
Okay.
Oh.
Otherwise, I'll be
Okay.
quiet and I'll let Bruno cook. But this
Okay.
is he's the main Vibe Samurai. I'm
Damn.
learning.
Okay. So you're the
Bro.
assist guy. You're the assist.
No, bro, he's ready for prime time. You're ready to be the main dude, dude. That was
He's like the
amazing.
white chocolate of Vibe Samurai, right? It's like,
Mm,
Oh, white chocolate. Oh,
I'll take it. I'll
Prime
take it.
Sarah. That's the name of the freaking episode. White chocolate Prime Samurai. Oh my god. Oh man. Did you think Monica was gonna be like this, bro? Bro, all our guests are so
Chill.
amazing. When we go live, you're a different person than on the videos, Monica. Where's this Monica
I know.
on the
No, I
seriously?
know. I don't know. This is me though. This is me. I try to be like more serious on the videos, but yeah, I do love basketball. I do love basketball. So yeah,
Wow.
appreciate the assist.
Hmm. But
Gotcha.
Monica, I was going back. So you're the vibes person, right? Oh yeah, yeah. So I was saying you were going to address it. Your vibes, ADHD, late to diagnosed, right? So
Yeah.
you have an inside's view where you can tell us adults what's going on in the mind of an ADHD person. What is that like? Like, bring me into that world.
Okay. So wait, can I start? Like, can I start
Mhm.
with kind of a little bit of my
Yeah,
backstory,
yeah. Oh,
like about
actually, yeah,
it, because it relates to vibes. So like
yeah.
and then like I learned that vibes was like mindfulness, right? So
Hmm.
when I first graduated, I was a single mom. And I started as like the young mom, and now like I ended as the old mom. I have 4 kids, so like
Hmm.
I'm your age, so also twice your
Hmm.
age. And I was a single mom, and the first job I got out of college as an occupational therapist, I was working at an institution for people with severe and profound intellectual and physical disabilities. Okay, and I was super interested in sensory processing and how all the senses worked, and that's a big like you know aspect of what we do as occupational therapists. It's called sensory integration, right? And I was like
Mm.
just fascinated because it tied into so much neuro, and it just explained a lot. And I had some sensory differences, and so I just answered a lot of questions for me when I was kind of pursuing that tract of knowledge beyond my degree. And so my boss was like, "Oh, hey, you want to learn sensory? I've got a special caseload for you." So I had a caseload of about 75, 80 people,
Okay.
and the everyone on my almost everyone on my caseload was either blind, deaf, or deaf and blind, and had a severe to profound intellectual disability. Um, Most of the people on my caseload had been living in an institution for years. So now when you think about that, think about the fact, think about living somewhere, think about living for decades in a place where the only people you came in contact with were paid to be in contact with you, right? And so I had a caseload of people who were a big subset of my caseload. They were deaf, blind, and highly aggressive, right? Because they were defensive. They didn't know what was going on. And so I learned very quickly that if I was going to help the people on my caseload, I had to be present. I had to get them to gain my trust in some way, right? And so I started learning through touch, through vestibular input. I had really cool. I ended up doing, I'm not going to get into it, but I designed this whole huge sensory building. And I had this one room that was like, had these big giant drums, right? They were
Mm-hmm.
wooden drums and they were multi-tonal. They had slats cut into them. And so people like who were deaf could lay on them and I could play it and they could
Wow.
feel the music through, because you have actually auditory receptors in your skin cells, because when those organs
What?
differentiate, they overlap so that you can actually feel sound, right?
Oh my
And
God.
so
Video
it
idea right here.
I
Okay.
know it was really super cool. So I learned that there had to be a different way,
Wow.
and it was really just being present, and it's, you know, people now would say it's just boring to be still and do nothing and waiting is so hard.
Mm,
Waiting is
mm,
so hard, right?
mm.
I feel like I've asked so many. I had this one, I do like different units each week, and I had this one unit where I was like, I asked kids, I was like, would you rather wait for like 60 minutes with nothing to do, or just have someone just punch you in the face really hard? And they all said like get punched in the face. Like I think every single person
Whoa.
was like,
Wow.
just punch me and let's get it over with. And it just,
Cisco,
but
what's your answer? What's your answer to that?
I've heard of this where kids like people would electrocute themselves rather than be bored
be
too.
bored. Yes, there are
Oh,
multiple studies,
you too,
multiple
Cisco, or
studies.
what? Because
There's
you
a
get
study
bored.
about it, like
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm
people
saying
just can't sit.
if you were there, what would you press, Cisco? You, because you said you can't stand boredom. You told me you have a
Uh, for the sake of it, sure, I'll get punched, I guess. Just to be funny.
but Monica, it's interesting that you like boil it down to you just say it like casually. You're just like be present. That's the thing. Just be
yeah,
present. But what does that mean? You know, like when you say just be present.
yeah. Like, I mean, just, I guess, be with somebody, and the only thing on your agenda is being with somebody. Like, that's, and I think it was really hard because a lot of those, and I had to work on myself in those moments, because I was, man, I got punched, I got kicked, I got scratched, I had tetanus shots, I got bitten, it broke the skin. Like, I was working with people who are highly aggressive, but
Mm,
like I said, they had so much trauma, right? Like, they had been misunderstood
mm,
for so long. So like I had this woman who, um she would, a lot of self-injury, right? So
hmm
she would hit herself and like hit her throat, like dig in her throat and all of that. And so they put her in restraints. That was a lot of things when I came in, and I ended up doing this job led me to my mentor, which led me to having the privilege to do, I did like 17 years. I worked as a consultant for the Department of Justice and their Civil Rights Division, and we went around to institutions and I worked on all these different federal cases. So like this job led me to that. But I have so many stories about the way people are mistreated when you wrote something in the little promo poster, which was lovely, by the way.
Yeah, you like
It was
that?
lovely. Yeah,
Attention to
I
details,
looked
man. All these
really
little
great.
things of the I didn't even understand. I was like, dude, I was asking AI, do lotuses real? I thought lotuses were on the water, but the flower doesn't usually is
No,
not
they
in the
stick up
water.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so like you wrote something about invisible something or other, right? Like invisible struggle or whatever. But like when people can't
Let's see.
speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or have a language impairment or it's all invisible. So this woman, they had her in restraints, they had her on like sedated, they had her, and I said, let's, you know what, let's because she was having trouble with eating too. I was like, let's just do let's just do some tests, let's do some testing, let's see what's going on here. And it turned out they did like a upper GI. It turned out that she had a massive hole in her esophagus. The acid, she had such bad reflux, and she had some issues with her stomach, and she ended up getting a procedure to help with it. But can you imagine, like, I don't know if you've ever had like heartburn, right? So imagine heartburn so bad it burns a hole in your esophagus. And she couldn't speak. She was trying to tell people, and they restrained her, right? So like, when I tell you I've seen behaviors that were like people fighting for their lives, right? But they were labeled as having behaviors. And so that's kind of where I came from. And now working with kids who are just like popping somebody because in the classroom because they can't read or whatever, but they're struggling, they're trying to cope and they don't want to look, kids would rather look, and I'm using quotes. I'm using air quotes, okay? Kids would rather look bad, because I don't think any kid's bad. Kids would rather look bad than dumb, right? And I don't think any kid's dumb either. But when I say I've seen
Wow.
behaviors, I've seen behaviors, and that start in that job has just guided pretty much everything I've done since. So, I mean, like I said, I could
Wow.
tell you lots of stories from that
All right.
era
All
of
right.
my life
Yeah.
and how they've shaped now. But
What was
Go
sorry.
ahead.
What was the
Go.
transition? Because I'm assuming, was it mainly adults, and then you transitioned to working with children?
yeah,
I was curious about that.
Oh yeah. Why did you end up doing more pre-kindergarten, kindergarten? Actually, I don't know. You tell me the ages that you focus on. Yeah.
yeah. So right now I do kindergarten through high school. Right, that's where I'm at. I was working and I was working with adults. I've even when I did the DOJ stuff, I was considered like a consultant, or they called me, I'm doing air quotes again, like expert. Um, I always had a caseload. So when I left that job, I ended up moving, and I started just doing outpatient pediatrics because I just needed something that I could do when I was home from traveling. And I started having more kids and taking them with me when they were babies. And then I needed something that I could do while I was here. And I could have just made a living because consulting money is good, right? Like public school therapy money is not good. That's what I'm doing now. Not good. But consulting money is fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
Let's
but
go.
I could never go in and tell other people what to do if I wasn't actually practicing, right? Like so,
Right.
and
That's what I love about you're clinical. So clinical. You know what I
I
mean? Yeah.
And so I did all that work, and then I transitioned to after the DOJ stuff. I got the privilege to work on a case in Arizona where I was not. There was no litigation. There wasn't a case. Like the institution wasn't being sued by the federal government. This institution just wanted to be better, right? And so I said, if I'm going in there and doing it, I'm going to get licensed in Arizona. My mentor's like, this is your case. You've got it. You're taking over. I had, a psychiatrist. I had like a whole team of people. And I was like, we're all getting licensed in Arizona. And we're all going to actually we're not going to just go tell them what to do. We're going to show them what to do. Right.
Ooh.
So that was where I kind of developed the model that evolved into the model that I wrote about in my book. Right. So
Which is what is it called?
it's
There's
called
a name.
it's called Mindfulness for Preschool and Kindergarten. So I was working and I had done a ton of training, and it was really like I was working, my goals were just quality of life. Because when people are living in an institution, a lot of times they're just trying, and they're complex medically, they're just trying to keep them alive, right? But they're not like living. And I'll never forget this.
Mm.
I was coming in, we do this thing, like I would do these things where I would try to just like figure out what people love, and I'd expose them to a lot of different things. If they're in a wheelchair, I'd get them on the floor. We'd do music, we do everything, right? Different smells, different, just like depending on what the person, could do. And I remember this woman telling me that they had been there. This person was like 60 years old. They had been there their whole life. And for decades, no one had ever seen them smile. And I was like,
Mm.
cool, our goal is to get them to smile, right? Like it was all about quality of, and they did, it was all about quality of life, right? So that case was probably my favorite thing I've ever done in terms of work, because we had, and again, it's a lot, but we don't need to talk about it right now, but there were just really extraordinary experiences of people having quality of life, like seeing them be happy, right? Seeing them have joy. Like I always feel like my thing when it comes to the heart of everything is play, right?
Mm.
So many mental
Play.
health issues could be solved in adults if we just played, if we kept playing, right? And I know,
It's so simple, guys.
just
Seriously,
play,
just keep everything play. Yeah.
keep playing, just keep playing. And so I think from there, I had a chance, like everything was like kind of winding down with the consulting, and I was having more babies, and so I decided to stay put, and
Uh-huh.
I got a job in the school system. And so I started kind of drawing a lot of parallels, but at the same time, I
Mm.
still kind of, I was doing research. I still wanted to get into, I've done a lot of like, I've
Mm-hmm.
published a lot in like journals and things like that, and done
Mm-hmm.
research studies.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm.
I had a friend of mine who I worked with on a civil rights case. She reached out to me and she's like, hey, so all that stuff you did with adults and all that stuff you've done with training and blah, blah, blah. She's like, could you create a program for preschool kids who are like living in poverty, right? So she's like,
Mm.
I just moved. I was in Kentucky because I worked on a case in Kentucky. She's like, I was there, and now I just got a job. I'm the CEO of this like nonprofit, right, in
Mm-hmm.
Missouri. And I love this woman's phenomenal. She's like super like visionary, great ideas. And I was just like honored. I was like, absolutely, I will. Like, I love that so much. And I at the
Mm-hmm.
time had kids at that age, and who were that
Wow.
age. So I started digging deep into the research. I was already working with a lot of young kids in my outpatient practice. I did a lot of work in Head Start, in daycare, in preschool,
Mm-hmm.
and home therapy with a lot of young kids. And so I created a whole program, and it was actually really cool because we ended up, one of the books in my stack is, um, I went to a conference to present on my initial data from my
Okay.
first study, and in Italy, and met these
Nice.
professors from South
Uh-huh.
Korea, and they're like, hey, can we take your program and translate it into Korean? So one of the books in my stack is like
Korean.
the version of that.
Korean. All right. Go
And
Korea.
so we got to like do a whole nother set of research studies in South Korea. And so it
Wow.
Oh.
modified it a bit, culturally,
Uh-huh.
modified it. But so that was kind of where I got into the young kids, like doing the work
Mm.
for taking
Mm.
meditation, which I was doing, and I was doing mindfulness trainings. Even when I was working at the hospitals, every time we'd have a meeting, and I'm talking like medical doctors,
Mm-hmm.
nurses, therapists, we would meditate, right? I'd ring the
Mm.
bell and we'd meditate. And I'll never
Damn.
forget the
Mm-hmm.
one
Mm-hmm.
time I knew it was like, I knew I had buy-in, right? Because you can give them research studies and
Oh,
be like, you
yeah.
need to be present.
Buy-in.
And
Mm-hmm.
my mentor, his name's Nurbe Singh. He's actually the editor of the journal called Mindfulness. He's the goat. He's like
He's
he's a
the goat of
mindfulness goat.
mindfulness. I
Damn.
Not
want.
the,
We
not
need
the,
him.
not the,
The
he's
the. He's
A
a
goat.
goat,
goat. A
right?
goat. Oh,
Goat.
oh,
He's
but you can't have many goats. There's only one goat. That's the whole point. Of a goat. You can't have
okay.
many goats. Wow,
One of
the
the
goat
goats.
of
One of the goats.
mindfulness.
So
Unbelievable. Yeah.
he's amazing. He's published a ton of research, and like his studies, he would just trade. Like he would be working with kids who are having all these like like crazy behaviors, right? And a lot of aggression. And he would just train the parents. And the studies in my work, we would just train the caregivers, and you see you don't do anything with the kids, and you see measurable benefits for the kids, right? Because of the vibes. Like you're training them, you're working on their vibes, you're getting them stronger, and then you know, you're seeing all these like measurable, quantifiable differences in reduction in child aggressive behavior, right? But you didn't do anything with the
Wow.
kid. You
It
just
was
worked
just
with,
vibes. It
yeah,
was just, bro.
this is fine.
She's creating future vibe samurai, bro. Through her training, she's
Mm,
creating future vibe samurais. People who are super in, touch with the vibes, like us. That's amazing.
So,
amazing.
so like okay, so now back, where were we? Okay,
Mm,
so meditation. So this one meeting we had, there was this guy, he was 19. I'll never forget. He had a super rare condition that affected his autonomic nervous system, right? He couldn't
hmm
regulate anything. And he had lost most of his vision, but he would hit himself. They lost count. They couldn't count how many times he hit himself in a given day. Like they would try to keep data or whatever, and they couldn't. And it was just because, I mean, think if you couldn't regulate your body temperature, you couldn't regulate pain, he couldn't regulate anything autonomically, right? And it's a really, really long name, and I'd probably mess it up right now if I tried to say it. But anyway, they're like, every time they'd have a meeting about a certain patient, they'd say like, oh, let's bring the patient in so they can listen, even if they're not like cognitively able to, you
hmm
know, participate in the meeting. We just want to like honor them and have them in this meeting. And so we were going to have this guy's meeting, which by the way, the first thing I did was ask the therapist to take him to a trampoline park, which was amazing. He like had a blast. Like he loved it. It was
Trampoline, bro. I
incredible.
love this. The
Everyone was
medication, bro, is trampoline park and
done.
play, bro.
1 million
No
percent the
drugs.
medication was trampoline. Like he's on all these psychotropics. I'm like, let's get him bouncing. So anyway, so they're like, we can't take him in there. He's gonna freak out. He's gonna hit himself. So he comes in and he's hitting himself. And I was like, you know what? We're just gonna do what we do. And I was like, I ring the bell, right? Like the meditation bell. I No word of a lie. This man, like everybody went into meditation. We only did 5 minutes.
hmm
He just put his hand, he had a wheelchair, like his hands down, just chill. Like he felt the whole room. And there were probably like 15 people on his team, right? All meditating. And he was just chill. Like it was, and everybody after
Bro,
that,
that
I
is
rang the bell.
so crazy
It
because
was amazing.
you put him in a situation where there were 15 other
Yeah.
super
Like it was
regulated.
like co-regulating nervous
Right.
systems, right?
It's
Like
like,
superpower co-regulate. Yeah. Like co-regulation to the nth degree. So like, and that
Wow.
wasn't the first time we did that. That's how we changed practitioners' minds. We'd say, give us your toughest person and let's just get them in a room and see what we can do. And it was just pretty incredible. So I thought it was a tangent. I'm sorry. I forgot.
yeah.
Okay, kids,
No,
kids,
that was
Yeah.
kids,
incredible.
kids, kids.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
started doing the research in Missouri, and my kids started becoming of school age. So I'm like, I'm just going to work at their school, and
hmm
then so that's how I started working with kids.
hmm
And
So, go ahead.
no, you go ahead, go ahead.
No, 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 no. Go. Finish.
No, no,
Finish.
I was just saying, I guess when I started working with kids, even though their abilities were extraordinary compared to the people I was working with previously in terms of cognitive abilities, right? Physical abilities, just what they could do. They were having so many of the same struggles. They were having so much of the same type of suffering because they were misunderstood.
Mm. So this was tonight's theme, okay? Tonight's theme, and that was the poster thing that you were talking about, Monica. But what adults call bad behavior may actually be an invisible struggle they haven't taken the time to understand. Do you
Yeah,
think that's kind of the underlying theme of all your work? With that
I
was. Mhm.
I do. I think, I think our habits and our behaviors are like high def, full color, right, on display. But I think our
Mhm.
intentions are almost always invisible, right? Like our intentions are invisible.
Mm. Mhm.
And so many of the kids I work with, their goals, their intentions are misinterpreted, right? Because people can't see them. Like kids really do want to do well. They really, they want the same things everybody, they want to be accepted. They want to feel safe. That's a huge one. They want to feel safe.
Mm.
They want to be able to be themselves. That's a huge need I see going unfulfilled. Kids want to be able to be themselves, right? And they want autonomy. They want to feel competent. They want, of course, they want acceptance. I think that there are these basic human needs that kids have, and it's really hard when it's hard to learn, right? Or do anything that's related to, that higher cognitive processing. There's a
Hmm.
scaffolding if they don't have those basic needs met. Some kids are super good at masking, right? But it all comes out. It definitely all comes out eventually.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
think a lot of times with
Hmm.
behavior, when we talk about behavior, we look at what people call like the squeaky wheel. But
Hmm.
I think the kids that worry me the most are the silent ones, are the quiet
Mm.
ones, right? The
Mm.
kids that aren't saying anything, the kids that are masking, the kids that are holding everything in, the kids, those kids are. So, and I know I look at behavior, I get referrals for behaviors, but the kids I really worry about the most are the ones that are super, super quiet.
Wow.
Wow.
Why is that? Why super quiet though? Yeah.
I think a lot of times kids have I mean, sometimes kids are just like quiet, right? Like sometimes kids
Hmm.
don't like to
Hmm.
talk. But a lot of the times, when kids are masking, right, they're putting up a front, it's
Hmm.
because they're in that, what I guess you would call, if you think about, people talk a lot about fight or flight or freeze,
Hmm.
right? They're in
Hmm.
like that
Hmm.
freeze state. And so I
That's the
know
freeze
that
state. Okay. Hmm.
definitely. And so yeah. So I think we need to check in. Obviously, we need to check in with our kids who are hitting people and throwing things and not doing their work and ripping up their papers and all of that.
Right. I see what you're
Um,
saying. Yeah, they
but
don't cause a
also,
problem, so they don't get attention, is what you're saying. They're not being
yes,
disruptive. They're just quiet. So maybe they're shy. Oh, they're
yeah,
introverted.
yeah,
So do you believe in it? Because I've considered myself like a hardcore introvert. That's how I
yeah.
describe myself. Is that a thing, or is that a label in my head? How do you think about introversion? This is fascinating. And both Cisco and I are introverts. I'm an INTJ. You're an INFP.
INTP.
INTP. Oh, why are you laughing?
No,
Me
no,
too.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I don't know mine. I don't know mine. I think I'm an
What?
introvert too, for sure. I think I don't know. I don't know all the J and P and all that, but I do. I'm familiar with what you're talking about. I'm not
Uh-huh.
super familiar with it, but
Uh,
I think that
it's a
I
Gen
don't
Z
know.
thing.
I think
Uh,
I think of like, as back to ADHD, right? People
mhm.
say that there used to be ADD, right? Like
Yeah.
attention disorder.
Explain the difference.
And then
Someone said I'm ADD versus I thought it was the same thing as
it's
ADHD. Yeah.
okay, so like it used to be ADD, like attention deficit disorder, and then
Hmm.
ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. But now it's just like all ADHD, but then it's inattentive type, right? And then there could be mixed type, and then there could be
Hmm.
hyperactive type. But this is what I've noticed, and this is me. I'm my youngest. We're a neurodivergent household, by the way. We very much so a neurodivergent, and I don't talk about my kids a lot. I especially don't talk about two of my kids a lot. I just respect their privacy.
Hmm.
Um, and it could be great content. I don't do it though. But
Hmm.
my youngest,
Great
he's definitely,
content.
anyone who
She's
knows my
thinking
youngest,
great content. Damn, I wish I
great
could do it. It would
content.
be so amazing. I go
Oh my God, I
viral.
have,
1 million followers.
I know, I need to start just saying like my student, I knew this in talking about my own kids, but like the moments we've had are like, and they're beautiful, and I just will keep them forever, but like they could be great content. But it, my youngest, like if you know him, he's like a puppy. He is straight up ADHD, just all over the place. Like I love that kid so much. I'm I'm what you would call, like back in the day you call ADD, but I am hyperactive in my mind, right? Like, and
Ah.
so when I see it, like these kids who are considered like inattentive with their like without hyperactivity, no, their minds are going like batshit. Like their minds are
Their
going like,
mind is hyperactive. Their minds
and
are hyperactive. Okay.
yeah, and I've had this I had this one girl say it perfectly. I was evaluating her and she's like, some people fidget all the time and they can't stop it. Like I literally have this like fidget thing I'm doing right now. Some people like they need fidgets or they're moving around. She's like, but I fidget with my mind. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I'll see something over there across the room and I'll be like, how would I play with that? She's like, I'll be like, well, I wonder why. I wonder why. I wonder why. And she's like, when I wonder, that's fidgeting and like with my mind. And so she's like,
Bro, this is a video right there.
Wow.
she's like, I do fidget, but I just don't like, she doesn't move. Like she's just, it's
All
mentally,
right.
right?
All right.
So is she
Yeah.
keeping hold of this conversation and then the fidgeting is happening? Like
Oh,
how,
great question. Great question.
Not
Yes.
so
or was
much.
she completely distracted by the fidgeting and not paying attention?
More of the second
Okay,
thing.
okay.
Yeah, no, she's straight up not paying attention to her teacher.
Mm.
But she
Mhm.
wants to. She
Mhm.
wants to. She knows she's supposed to, right? But it's just it's hard. It's
All right.
very hard when you have you ever had like a
Mhm.
piece like a popcorn stuck in your teeth?
Mhm. Mhm.
Right? It's so
Mhm.
salient. It's like your whole world. And I think
Yeah.
as much
Yeah.
You're
as
right. At that moment, you don't care
Yeah, you're
about
digging.
anything.
Yeah.
You're right.
no,
Oh man, this is another video idea. Oh my God,
no,
popcorn
somebody
stuck.
could be like telling you like where to find treasure, and they're like, I'm only going to tell you once, but the popcorn that is there, and you have to get it out, right? It's terrible, massive.
Wow. Hey, Monica, but I want to know, can you tell us a little bit more about Monica before Dr. Monica? So, like, you were late diagnosed with ADHD. So,
Mhm.
help us walk us through, like, what your world was like when you didn't have people like you helping people, right? Like, and you were
Mhm.
late, so you understood all this stuff later. So, what can you
Yeah,
tell us about that whole experience? Yeah.
I mean, I always had a lot of anxiety for as far back as I can remember, right? I had a lot of anxiety. And I think it was just because I knew I was different. Um, my mom said, she's like, I, I would watch you, like, you would sit at, she's like, I would go to the front door and I had these like little socks that like folded over or whatever with ruffles on them. And she's
Mm-hmm.
like, you would sit there for like half an hour and just like to make sure that they were even. Like she, like they had to be even, right? Like I would just sit there and just fold them and fold them and fold them and like I guess you could call that
Wow.
OCD. But like I mean I always I felt like I had this really rich internal life, and I was always like in school I was considered gifted, right? I was in the gifted program.
Mm-hmm.
I did really well academically. I
Wow.
but I was late. Everything was late. There was shit I didn't do. I started
Oh,
skipping school
shit.
when I got old
Uh-huh.
enough to do so, right? Like you could go the school I went to, I'm in South Florida. You could go like there's this big road and you could turn left and go to school, high school, or you could go straight and go to the beach, right? And it was just this every day.
Oh
It was
my
just
God,
like
what a temptation, bro. Bro,
it was like
I would have done the same. I don't have ADHD. I
question,
would have done the
right?
same, bro. Every skipping? Come on, man.
I
You
just
crazy?
made a lot of poor decisions. I was very impulsive. I remember I went to get my friend at one point at one of these times when I was supposed to be going to school and she was supposed to be going to school. But I'll never forget, I had this really old Volvo, right? So I go
Mhm.
to pick her up and we're supposed to be in school. And I'm like, let's go. And then I'm just speaking to the impulsivity. And so I go to, it's old, right? And so I go to put it in reverse, back out, and then I go to put it in drive, and I hit the gas, still going backwards. Put it weird, put it in reverse, going backwards. Put it in drive, still going backwards. Put it in neutral, still going backwards. So I'm like, let's go to the mall. Like, let's go to we can do it. We can do it. We can definitely do this. We were gonna go to the mall. Let's go to the mall. Like every gear's backwards except for park, right? So we start going down this like long straight, which is the same road, by the way, that you would go to the beach, but we weren't going there. We were going the other way to the mall. And I'm like, this is a really bad idea, right? And she's like, this is a really bad idea. So I'm going to like pull in. We're going backwards. I am 16. right? I'm not a good driver forwards yet. So we
Woman
go
on
to
a mission, girl on a mission, bro. She's on a fucking mission.
so it's kind of a long stretch, and now I'm actually back home where I grew up, because I moved home several years ago to kind of help out my parents. But I go to pull in to the first place I see to pull in. It's a drug and alcohol rehab center. I'm pulling in backwards, pulling into the parking lot backwards. She's jumping out. I put it in neutral. She pushes the car forwards. We finally get out of there and get back to her house and call a tow truck. But I did a lot of very stupid shit.
Monica, you wrote a book. Write this book as well now. Like your whole life through your angle. That would be an amazing story. No, right? She's
No,
going through this whole thing and she understands all things, and you're giving us like a real wow.
no, but like that, I guess. So like I was this like, so I guess growing up, I was like half that,
Mm-hmm.
half perfectionist, right? I was like, half of me wanted to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I did really well academically.
Mm-hmm.
I was in sport. I played sports. Like I was I'm still so competitive.
No
Like
shit.
I remember the first time I played. Did you ever play Tekken 3? Because we're the same age, like kind of.
Tekken 3? No, what's that?
Tekken 3, it's like a fighting game. It's like a video game. Now it's
I
like
know
Oh,
Tekken's
Street
like
Tekken.
Fighter. I know
Tekken.
Street Fighter.
okay, it's like Street Fighter, right?
Yeah.
But it's like
Oh, okay, okay.
there we have this place called like Play Money where it's like you pay and then you go in and play every arcade game like as much as you want, right?
Wow,
And I'll never
wow. That
forget
sounds cool. Uh-huh.
my son was in a competition, right? And like a video game competition, and he did really really well. He's young. It's like all these like older people who probably live in, you'd say like they live in their mom's basement. They're like crushing it. They're crushing all the young kids, like crushing them, destroyed. And he did like really really well.
Uh,
But then afterward, we're like, oh, let's all just hang out and play. And then he's like, hey, want to play this game? And I fucking destroyed him. I didn't mean to. Like I was pulling back, and I'm like, that gotta be
Monica,
like,
what are you doing?
Wow. First try.
Where's the presence there, Monica? Monica,
no,
where's
I
the
was present
presence?
for winning. I was present for winning. And
I'm
I
saying
like I
ego check. Ego check.
so much. I felt like the worst human being on the planet. I looked at my husband and he's like looking horrified, and I'm like, I just wanted him to think I was cool too. Like I wanted to think he's like amazing at every video game, and like I was like, why didn't I pull it back? But I was so competitive. So like there was this combination of like me being so, it was like ADHD was like, it was like half needing to be so precise and so
Mhm.
perfect and have everything just right, and then half just making these decisions that were just completely thoughtless and
Mhm.
impulsive, right? It was the
Mhm.
most.
But Monica, so it sounds like, how did everyone accept you? Did you feel like you belonged and everybody respected that you were different, right? Like it's might be a different experience for different kids, right? Like some kids
Yeah.
are totally don't have a supportive environment. How was your, because you make it sound like almost like, oh, this was actually fun, right?
I mean,
Along the lines of playing. Yeah.
I did have fun, but I also spent a lot of time in solitude. Like I spent a lot of time
Mm,
reading, a lot of time alone. I did
mm,
mask a lot. Like I think back to I was depressed a lot, right? Like I spent a portion of my young adulthood like hospitalized for depression. So it did have, it was rough. It was rough. And a lot of, I think it all goes together, especially with women. Women who are diagnosed late, autism, ADHD present
mhm,
so much differently than boys and men, right? Like
mm.
women are often misdiagnosed as having anxiety and depression, right? Women who are neurodivergent. And so, yeah, I did go through, I think I had an existential crisis when I was like 8. I'm not gonna lie. I think
When you were 8, what
yeah,
were you
I'm pretty
thinking?
sure.
What was the
Yeah.
8? See, this is where we're going. This is where I want to go. I want to
That
go.
is the infinity symbol.
Yes, it
Oh.
is. It is. And I think I relate to my one son so much because he did too, right? Like, and it was the
Hmm.
same. His kind of coincided when my dad passed away. He took that really hard. It was really tough. But God, I see so much of my I love all of my children.
Hmm.
Obviously, I love all of my children.
Obviously.
Obviously, and they're all incredible. I'm super duper biased, but I love all of my, like, they're all and I relate, actually I relate to all of
I
them.
feel like you have a favorite because you're just saying, no, no, I love all my children. No,
No, no,
no.
no,
But
I feel
I
like
don't know.
I really actually don't have a favorite. If you ask all of them, they'll probably be like, nah, that's her favorite. I have three boys, one girl. And my girl is like my ride or die, right? Like, we've been together.
Damn.
Like, I was young when I had her. She's
Wow.
amazing. Like, they're all incredible. But I feel like every single one of them, there's something in them that I feel like I relate to. It's like my
Mm,
inner child. I can see in them,
mm,
you know.
mm-hmm.
But no, it was tough. It's tough. Being, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like, I've always said, like, um, I'd rather have kids who have um, like, struggle with behavior or have problems than kids who are boring, right? Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
terrible. I said that out loud, but like, when you said at the beginning, like, that you thought I was interesting, that's like seriously the best compliment anyone could give me, right? Like that, like,
Really? Wow. See?
yeah.
Wow.
And I don't feel, and that's why, hence my company is called Little Lotus. Like, you can't have, um, like, beauty without struggle, right? Like, I feel like you have to have.
To explain the lotus thing, the how the lotus grows, the significance of lotus for our audience, because this is the name of your thing, but I think this is, and why is it associated with Buddha and awakening and all that stuff? Yeah.
So the lotus, it grows, in mud, right? And you see this thing, it looks like it's effortless. It's like even either floating or rising above the water, right? And it looks
Mm.
like it has a super easy life. But they actually start out, their seeds are like deep in the mud. And the mud is like, if you've ever gone down to the bottom of a pond and like dug, it's like stinks. It's kind of gross. It's like
It
a little
stinks?
bit disgusting. Yeah, a little bit.
Really? Okay.
And
Hmm.
it, there's a lot of stuff, but in a circle of life way, in a beautiful circle of life way, not like I'm
Okay,
pissing them up.
it stinks in a beautiful circle of life. Wait, somebody freaking clip city this, bro. Okay.
So, so like, it has to, it starts in the mud and it starts to grow, and it's like fighting its way up through the water and fighting its way up through the water, and then finally, like, it gets up there, but it stays tethered to the mud. It doesn't
Mm.
ever, like, just break free from the mud. And so, like, it's beautiful. Like, I think they're like so extraordinarily beautiful, like lotus flower, water lilies, or whatever you want. I can go look at, there's a true lotus and then there's like a water lily. It's the same
Hmm.
damn thing, right? Like, and they open up
Okay.
to the sun, and some of them, like, go to sleep every night and then open up, and it's like, I think they're extraordinary. And so I thought, when I was kind of coming up with a name for my company, when I
Hmm.
decided to make my own practice, it was
Hmm.
Little Lotus, because the kids I work with and the adults I've worked with have been through so much, but they're so beautiful because of it. And I think it's the same way with me. Like, I've
Hmm.
been through a lot of things in my life in terms of trauma and health things and injury and this and that and whatever. And I am so glad for it, right? Like, it
Hmm.
sometimes it really sucks. Pain sucks, but I think I'm a better person because of it. Like, I think, and I think that's what my goal is, really. If I had to just sum it up, is
Hmm.
if I'm helping somebody in therapy, I want them to realize that
Hmm.
they will be better because of this.
Monica, so when did you find, because the lotus you're talking about, the lotus is very much associated with Buddhism. You talk about mindfulness, you talk about all these things, right? So where did this, at what part of your journey did you start getting into this stuff?
Okay, so I think it was probably like when I told you I was like going through a lot of depression when my
Hmm.
young
Hmm.
adulthood, and then I became I just started, nothing was, Western medicine didn't really help me, which you probably hear that a lot, right? Okay.
Previous Vibe Sesh guest, she was talking
Yeah.
about that the whole time, you know?
It didn't really help me a lot. And so I just started kind of, I've always been a avid reader. When I told you about solitude, like when I was younger, when I was, it was a lot of reading. And so I started reading a lot about Eastern mysticism. It just compelled me, right? Like I just thought it was super compelling. I started reading a lot about like the old work of Terence McKenna. Have you ever heard of Terence
Yeah, of
McKenna?
course. Of
Right.
course.
So the mushrooms and all of that. And so
You did mushrooms, you said? Uh-huh.
I have done mushrooms and
Nice.
had beautiful experiences.
Did you see some lotuses?
Yeah, I did not.
Imagine looking at a lotus when you're high on mushrooms. You should do
Yeah,
that,
it's
you know?
beautiful. I mean, it's been so long, but like I finally felt like what I felt like I had been searching for, right? And you don't have to. You don't have to obviously have use a psychedelic to find that, right? Nirvana. Obviously, there are.
You found nirvana and your
No, I mean,
mushrooms?
I'm not saying not Nirvana. That's hyperbole. That's hyperbole. Okay, but like to find that, like bliss, to find bliss, right?
Ah, yes. Okay,
And
bliss.
but I have had some like I've had super beautiful experiences with that.
Why
But
are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Share.
no, I was thinking like, so I was at this mindfulness conference in Rome. I have been to a couple of them, right? And
Okay.
we're at this dinner, right? And
Uh-huh.
mind you, there are like leading researchers in mindfulness, like big names, and they're around this big massive table at dinner. And then there's this guy. I don't know who he was, like somebody's mentee. I don't know. He was a PhD student.
Okay.
And then there were monks at the table, right? Like people who had been
Oh, damn, I
practicing
want to be
for.
at that dinner, bro.
Oh, it was
Intellectuals,
amazing.
monks, and
It
mindfulness
was,
people. Dude, you could just be you there, right? Because everybody's just
yes,
mindful. There's like, oh my God, the vibes and something like that must
yeah.
be insane. Okay.
No, vibes, right? Vibes. And this guy, like he was kind of quiet, like he wasn't really and he was like from I want to say Czechoslovakia, but I'm not like 100% on that, right? And if
Okay.
you know, if
Okay.
there was some crazy
Details.
synchronicity where he's listening, what's up? Because that guy was awesome.
Shout out to the
But
Czech guy, to the maybe Czech guy.
so he was like talking, and he's like, everybody's talking about like all the year, everybody's talking about meditation, right? And
hmm
mindfulness and like how long they've been meditating and this and that. And the whole conference is about these people from all over the world, blah, blah. And he's like, so he's like, I went to Mexico and we were with all these people and he's like, there were toads, right? Like you lick the toads or whatever, like whatever. It's a thing where you lick toads and then you trip. Have you heard of that? There's
No,
some
you
kind of
lick a
Is that
psycho.
toe? Like a
Okay, so
DMT
live toe?
or
No, I thought you take the spit
I
from the toe. You don't
it's
lick a
something,
toe.
right? Something, I swear he said lick a toad or whatever. Okay,
I
so
think
it's
that's
something you
You're
DMT.
gonna
take
take a
from.
toe.
I don't think he's actually like I think okay, so he's talking about it and he's telling the story, right?
Okay.
In my mind, I'm like, he said we licked toads. I don't think that's what it was. I think it was like, yeah, it's something from the toad
Right,
that made
right,
him trip. Like, but
right,
he's like, there was a monk in my group. So everybody's tripping, right? Everybody's
right.
having this crazy experience. They're all hallucinating. They're all this and that. And he's like, there was a monk in my group. And they gave it to him. And he just sat there. And it didn't affect him. He's like, I've already been here. I've already done that, you know? And it was just, he
Bro,
had,
so I
He's
heard a
on DMT
teacher.
naturally.
I heard
what's
a
that?
teacher say that, and nobody believed him. There was a
Wow.
Yeah,
teacher was talking about like how he did 10 grams of mushrooms and he didn't feel
yeah,
anything.
yeah.
I don't know if he was telling the truth though. I was
Nah,
like,
that's
no
bullshit.
way.
No,
That's
This
like,
guy's
bullshit.
like, that's bullshit.
he's
That's
like, no,
bullshit.
he's like, yeah, I've definitely, and 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 what? Like it was nothing to him. Like he just,
Uh-huh.
And so yeah, so that's kind of how I started getting into the whole Eastern philosophy side of things. And I was raised Christian, right?
hmm
And it was very, I guess I kind of get a little bit antsy about, I love habits, right? I love routines, but like all of the ritual, like giving so much, like so much reverence to rituals kind of always made me feel like I wanted to feel the thing more than
Hmm.
do the ritual. And I think when I put so much into the reading and the do it, I wanted to feel like I'm a show, not a tell, I guess. Like, show and tell. Like, I'd rather
Hmm.
bring something and show it and I'd rather see somebody bring something than tell me about something. Does that make sense? Like,
Really? Wow,
yeah,
interesting.
with
That's an
show and
interesting
tell, what
question.
would you pick? What would you pick? Would you rather
I
somebody
would
like,
pick tell. I would pick tell for sure. Tell.
really? So
Wait,
if somebody
you
got,
said show? You said show.
yeah, like if somebody
Hmm.
gets a brand new toy, right?
Hmm.
And do you want them
Oh,
to
you're
sit and,
right. You're right. You're right. I want to see. I want to see.
okay,
You're
yeah,
right. You're
yeah,
right.
right.
You're right. Right.
I want to
Uh-huh.
touch it. I want
Yeah.
to touch it and look at it and play with it, right?
Not
Like,
just tell. Right. Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's what I prefer. I want to play with that thing.
And so I felt like organized religion was, I guess, for me, Western
Hmm.
organized religion was um, more like tell, and I wanted
Hmm.
more like show. And I felt like the
Mm.
Eastern part, and now I know like
Mm.
Christians
Interesting.
like have they like there's they have they have their own form of meditation, right? In Christianity,
Hmm.
like they have their own form,
Yeah.
and now I get it. Now I feel like I can be present and go to a church and feel it.
Mm.
Like I just feel something. But the Eastern
Hmm.
philosophy is what made sense. It helped
Yeah.
me, like
Yeah.
I got it right.
Monica, tell us about, because one thing that I noticed in your thing, which was I want you to talk more about, is you said that there are many forms of meditation, right? Because
Yeah,
a lot. So I truly believe, and I made a video about this, that I believe it was a video about like what's one skill I would have learned when I was in my 20s. And I said meditation, no,
yeah,
just no second place, right? And so for
yeah,
me, I've just really been like meditating the traditional way, focusing on the breath and then bodily sensations and then get good at that, right? And so a lot of people can't do it, like Cisco. And Cisco recently, you can share the story, Cisco, you discovered walking meditation. And this is kind of a
yes.
walking for him. But like, tell us more about it. Like, what is meditation to you, and what are all the different forms of meditation?
Yeah, so like walking meditation, that's in my book for kids, right? For preschool kids, and that's a huge one. I love walking meditation. I tuned into the last episode on Monday, like kind of toward the
Hmm.
end, and then today I
Hmm.
tried to like catch the beginning a little bit earlier
Hmm.
today,
Hmm.
but I still haven't seen the middle. But I want to. I want to because I really liked her. She
She's
seems
amazing. She's amazing.
um, but I do that all the time. Like walking meditation is beautiful. I do that with kids, but I
How do
think
you do
sometimes,
how do you do your walking meditation? Teach us. I want to compare it to what Cisco does, because you said some interesting things, Cisco, in terms. But let me ask you, like, yeah, what techniques, or how do you
yeah.
instruct kids to do walking meditation?
So for kids, like you kind of have to make it a bit more exciting, right? Than just like
Mm.
I try to walk and I kind of just like time my not time my breaths, but just kind of be mindful of my breaths and like what's around me.
Oh.
Right? The
Hmm.
smells, like all the senses, just kind of taking in and just walking, right? Like, because there's that. I'm sure you've heard of that teaching, like when how do you be like when you're washing dishes, just wash dishes, right? Like anything
Hmm.
can be a meditation if you're just doing that thing.
Right. Right.
And so with kids, you have to be a little bit more creative. So like I'll do like when I ring the bell, take a step, right? And then I'll do when the bell stops ringing, take a step, right? So that's when they really have to kind of lock in. When I'll say,
Oh man, that's
so like
confusing. I would have
I
to
don't
lock
have one.
it.
I always have one. Like I don't have one on my desk right now. I have. Oh yeah, I do. Just kidding. So I don't have the dinger.
Wait, so I don't understand. Give me the instructions again. Now let me see.
So ding, right? And then when the bell stops ringing, they take a step and freeze, right?
Hmm.
And then sometimes I'll do like if I ring it once, take two steps. If I ring it twice, take one step. So you're kind of getting them to lock in on the sound because otherwise they're just like walking and thinking about what they're going to do, at recess or whatever. So like you want them to be present. So you're giving them that
Hmm.
something to help them be present, right? So some sort of sensory cue usually. But sometimes it's just like draw. I'll have them, and this isn't walking minutes, but kids who like to do things with their hands, I'll say like draw 10 circles, 10 squares, 10 triangles. And then I'll say if I clap once, you're going to cross out a circle. If I clap twice, you're going to cross out a square. If I clap three
Mm.
times, you're going to cross out a triangle. And then we do that, and at the end, like they tell me how many of each they got, and I'm keeping track, and they're all keeping track. And it's just like a way of checking in, like how present was I? And it's never like you need to get them all correct. It's
Mm.
just like how present was I? How hard was it for me?
So
Right?
you're equating presence to attention, like attention. Like, would you say it's the same
Yeah.
exact? Yeah,
Yeah. I think
because
attention plus awareness equals presence.
attention plus aware. Okay, got it.
So if you,
Wow, I
and
like that.
it's hard because, right, attention is focusing on one thing.
Right, and that's what you're
And
doing
then,
with the kids. They're focusing on one thing, right?
yes. And then awareness is everything else. It's physical, it's sensory, it's social, it's I do like did you see the video I did with the balloon? Like you're bouncing the
Mm-hmm.
balloon and then
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
pour in a cup of water. So I've done that for probably 2 decades. I've done that as a training exercise. And what I'll do is the first one is I'll say, okay, first you're going to bounce the balloon and then you're going to pour the cup of water, right? So they
Ooh,
realize that they have to like shift. And then
right.
I'll say, okay, this time, and I'll put like, I have a bag of rice. I'll say, put the bag of rice on your head and do the same thing. And so a lot of times I say like, wait, I was more worried about bouncing, blah, blah, blah. And the last time I say, now you're going to bounce the balloon with the bag of rice, and then pour the cup of water, but you have to count backwards out loud by sevens. And then they all look at,
Damn,
almost
that's
every
hard.
time they look at me and they're like, they start bargaining, right? They're like, can I do fives? Or like, or they'll say straight up like, no, I can't do that. Or can I do fives? Or can I just count backwards? Or they just, and that's what our kids do too. Our kids start bargaining when things, because what happens is it becomes multitasking, right? Multitasking is different than mindfulness because with mindfulness, you have attention
Uh-huh.
plus awareness. Awareness is something you have like automaticity for, right? Like you can walk and chew gum if you're really good at walking and chewing gum. Like if you don't have to corticalize them, if you don't have to like,
Mm.
think about them, if they're automatic. So when you add too many components, like when you add math, right,
Mm-hmm.
to something that's like a complex,
Mm-hmm.
motor planning task,
Mm.
then your brain can't your brain can only focus on one thing at a time,
Mm, mm. And
right?
so even in that, because for me, I think of like I'm just in a quiet room, right? Just counting my and just feeling the sense. It seems so different. It's so active, right? Versus what
Yeah.
I consider meditation, right?
Yeah.
So how are you defining meditation then?
So I think I define, because I'm in the camp of
Mm,
mindfulness, and I define meditation as mindfulness meditation. So it's really just being present. So when I have
mm,
kids and they're doing those things where they're crossing
mm,
out the shapes and all that, they're fully they're focusing on that, right? And they might
mm,
have to filter out distractions, right? Like somebody else is moving around, or
mm,
the bell's ringing, or there's an announcement coming on. It's a school setting. They're still having to filter. They are having to maintain awareness, and they're
mm,
having to balance awareness and attention, right?
mm,
And
mm,
so one of the things is people would be so self-conscious, and afterward we'd process, and I'd be like, okay, what were you focused on? How did your focus shift? And one of the things they had to be aware of was they're like, I'm kind of feeling like I'm worried about what other people are thinking about me if I'm getting the math wrong, right? So there's
mm,
always that. When we think of awareness, it's not just like awareness of our sensory world, but it's awareness of like our thoughts, and whether we're being judged, or that social context too. So there's a social awareness that comes along with everything we do.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Hey, because for me, when I think about what meditation does for me at the core, it's,
Hmm.
Viktor Frankl, Man's Search
Yeah.
for Meaning. Yeah, yeah. So his whole there's stimuli and response, and in between there's a gap between stimuli and response, and in that gap lies your freedom and
Yes.
your place to grow, right? That's the place where you
Yes.
grow. So to
Okay.
me, meditation is finding that place all the time, like, and
100%.
widening that gap as much as possible as so that's what you're trying to do,
Can I tell you something crazy?
Yeah.
Okay, because no, I fully believe that. And I sit when I met, like, I mean, I just started drawing again mandalas because that was like a big thing for me back in
Drawing
some
mandalas.
rough years. So there's a rough period in my late 20s, early 30s where I like drew a lot of mandalas. And
You know what a
but
mandala is, Cisco?
I'm gonna look it up.
Check them
but
out. She drew like a
but
million
now
of
I
those.
mean really mine is I sit, right? I sit and breathe.
Oh.
But kids,
Mhm.
you can't go from, you can't force understanding. And what I realized, even with my trainings I do with people, yeah, you can sit and be quiet and breathe, but you're thinking about your grocery list. Like that's
Right.
not meditation. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you, and so I think if I can put someone in their body, because we're
Mhm.
all in our heads so often, right?
Mm.
If I can bring somebody into their body and get them out of that loop, that spiral, I feel like that's meditation. Like, because the stillness. I always say
Mm.
one of my slogans, and it's one of my, if you go to my website, it's one of the things that I have all these things. Like, one is you get good at what you practice, and one is what I call stillness prevents illness. That's what I always say, because we don't know how to be still anymore. So I give kids these moments. The kids I work with are typically
Mm.
all over the place, mentally or physically, usually both.
Mhm.
But if I can get them that experience of being still and just kind of breathing and
Mm.
noticing their breath in any capacity, then I feel like that's beneficial for them.
Mhm.
And I've seen
Mhm.
that kids who start out and they're like, what are we doing? And
Mhm.
then by the end of they're asking for it. They're like, can we do breathing? At the beginning of the session, they're
Interesting.
asking
Uh,
for it.
uh,
And I use a lot of sensory tools. Like I use like this thing I have right now that I'm playing with. Like these, it's like a bracelet, and you slide the beads, and you breathe, and you time so like a lot of times there's a
wow.
sensory tool, which again, that's like a mala, right? Like for meditation. But I have to be
Mm.
creative with how I introduce the meditation. But
Mhm.
obviously, the goal is that they will evolve, like they will
Mhm.
grow. The long,
Mhm.
like breathing.
Mm.
Because it's
Mm.
portable. You don't need any special tool. Like your breath is portable. You can do that anywhere,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because so that's why you're calling it mindfulness, but then the next stage would be this kind of more kind of broad kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Or no? Yeah?
Yes. Yes. But
Okay.
the Viktor Frankl thing, which
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah. Go
love.
ahead.
Have you read the whole book?
Of course. Of course. Yeah.
Amazing. It's so
Amazing.
OG. Like he's an honorary occupational therapist, because that's the heart of our whole profession is his book. Like
Wow.
meaning and doing, right? And it was like he had the whole thing about what people who had something waiting, meaningful and important waiting for them to do, are the people who survived, right? The concentration camps. But I was gonna that's like so widely attributed to him, that in between stimulus and response there's a pause or there's a space and blah blah blah. And that's he didn't say it. Do you know
No
how I know
way.
that? It is a
No way.
myth. That is an urban legend, because I combed that book backwards, and it's widely attributed to.
ChatGPT, the hell me
No,
Is this like a
ChatGPT.
Mandela effect?
blow your
I
mind.
don't know. This can't be.
No, I was like, I asked my mentor, who was also wrote the foreword to my book, and I'm like, he's like, you need the source for this quote, and I'm like, because I put it in my book, and I'm looking, he's like, Monica, he didn't say that. He did not say. Everyone attributes that quote to him. When I tell you, I scoured
Bro,
this book.
ChatGPT said there's no evidence Frankel ever wrote or said
Wow.
the. Bro, I've been quoting this. This is
No,
my favorite quote.
same,
What is
same,
going on?
same. Sam,
Wow,
I
that's a
don't know who
mind
said
blown.
it. He didn't say it though.
Bro, vibe sesh. This is vibe sesh right
Bro,
here,
we've
bro.
repeated that so many times.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
No, it's crazy,
Misinformation.
right?
Bro, you blew
Wow.
our mind. My face is hot right now. I'm
Damn, I gotta
sweating,
double
literally.
check my shit, man.
No, I would say that. I said that in training. Like I said that in yeah, no. I was
Wow.
like, Yep, I know how you're feeling right now because I felt it.
I gotta make a video about this.
Backspace, 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 delete, delete, delete. Like I took that right out of my book.
Oh wow, wow. Hey,
I actually have
go
I
ahead,
do have a
Cisco. You
question
1st.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because when she was talking about with the meditation, and because it reminded me of your video with the tabs.
Okay.
You had
Yeah.
kids running the tabs. So do you like always do that with them and have them try to clear the tabs, or they do the meditation to clear the tabs? Or maybe that was just a one-off exercise, but you had
Both.
them write things down that like they're thinking about, and it was a tab, a tab, a tab.
Yeah. Yeah. So both. So if it resonates, right, then that's your strategy. Like that's your
Okay.
practice.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the exercise is super cool because we don't realize how many tabs kids have open because again, that's invisible, right? Like all those tabs are super invisible. And I have kids, the majority, so many kids with if we talk about behavior, right? I read there was something, there's research and there's a bunch of different studies, but if I it's like kind of I think there was a systematic review, but um about 60% of kids who are in juvenile detention
Mm-hmm.
have um a moderate to severe language impairment, right? So struggle to express themselves or understand language in their own language. Some people hear language and they're like, oh, they don't speak English. No, like their own language, right? So think about if you can't tell your story, right? First of all, you look guilty as heck, right? If you're
Mm-hmm.
doing something and getting in trouble, and you're trying to say what you did, and you're not making sense, you look guilty, right? But when you ask them what they did last weekend, they don't make sense either because they have a language impairment. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of people who struggle, people with behavior problems who have difficulty with language, with understanding and processing language, with trauma. There's something like 80% of people who are over 80% of people who are incarcerated have trauma, significant trauma, or PTSD. All of these kind of like invisible disabilities, all of these tabs open we don't see, right? And sometimes they don't even know the tabs are open, but they're taking up space. They're lagging, right? Like they're making their program run slow. Um, they're taking up room on the computer screen because there's not, right? Like, can I do a quick working memory exercise with you?
Yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we
Because
want
this is really what
exercise.
it's about. The
Mm-hmm.
more tabs you have open, and this is just kind of something I've put together over the years, but like
Okay.
I think the more tabs you have open, the less capacity you have for working memory, which I think is what makes people really struggle. People who have difficulties with behavior or ADHD or whatever. The more
Mm-hmm.
tabs you have open, the less space you have on your computer screen for working memory. So I'm going to test. Can I test you?
Okay.
Who
Okay.
wants to
Let's
go
go.
first? I have this
Cisco
little
first.
visual.
Cisco first. I'm
Yeah,
nervous.
I'll be the guinea
I'm
pig.
nervous.
Okay, so I'm just going to tell you a set of things and you're going to repeat them back to me. I just happen to have this thing like on my desk because I cleaned
Oh
off.
shit! I'm nervous. You
No,
can
it's
wake
not
up,
bad. It's
bro.
not bad.
What?
You guys are
Okay.
both super smart. Okay, so I'm going to tell you it's going to be color, letter, number, and you're going to repeat
Okay.
back. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Red X5 AG blue. I'm going to say it again. Red X5 AG blue.
Red X5, red G blue, or something like that.
Close.
Okay, my turn. My turn. I got this. I got this. Okay,
You
go ahead.
got it? Okay, you ready for one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Let's see. R purple 3, E yellow M.
R purple 3, E yellow M.
Oh, now say it backwards. Say it backwards.
Yeah.
My brain couldn't do it. Wow. Awful. But
Damn.
you didn't prepare me for that. If you prepare me, I think I can do it. Can we
Jay
try
said that so
prepare?
Okay,
fast.
ready? I'm going to prepare you, and you're going to say it
Okay.
backwards.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
7B pink, H and green.
7B pink H. Oh, green. I can't even do it. Man, that's hard.
Why
No,
that hard?
Wow.
So that's working memory, right? So like obviously
Okay.
that's difficult, right? But the kids
Hmm.
think about the kids I work with who are struggling with behavior
Hmm.
have a hard time with 3 and 4 pieces of information. I gave you 6. They can't do 4. And now they're in a
Wow.
classroom, right? So
Wow.
when we think about working memory and inhibitory control, which again, I forgot your original question, but I'm just
Just
telling
keep
you.
going.
Go with the
Hmm.
Working
flow.
memory and inhibitory control are so closely linked that researchers
Mm.
have trouble measuring them discretely until kids are like 12, right? So because you think about it, to control yourself, you have to remember the rules, right? You have to remember
And
what the
so if
rules are.
you're working memory, you don't remember the
Mm,
rules.
The rules are a tab. Sometimes that tab is minimized because like there's a tab open for like I need to sit in my chair without falling out of it, right? Like there's a tab open for like all of this noise is terrible. I need to like dampen it, right? There's a tab open for like my dad hits my mom at night. Like there's a tab open for all of
mm,
these things, and maybe
Mm.
the rules
Mhm.
tab is either minimized because it's not as important, or it's behind some other tabs that are open. So
Wow.
working memory is like a huge piece of that. You brought up the tabs thing. So like I think
Yeah.
with kids, a lot of times kind of helping them understand what can I give you a story to illustrate it?
Yeah.
Like illustrate it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
was working with this girl and I have this whole thing. I do a lot of work with like sensory integration, sensory processing, like how we process sensory information.
Hmm.
And I have this whole like sensory inventory I give kids. And I was working with this girl. She was in 7th grade, and she was constantly in trouble. Like this girl was constantly getting into trouble, and she was talking, and she'd talk back, and she'd say things that weren't appropriate. Sometimes they were super funny, but like she would get kicked out of class a lot, and
Hmm.
not by me. She'd come to me after she got kicked out, but she was constantly like doing stuff and like walking around the room and whatever, and making
Hmm.
noises and like tapping and like starting conversations and just like
Hmm.
whatever. So one day I was doing this thing with her, and it was like it's in the inventory, it's like saying all these like it's based by like sensory kind of category. So there's like
Hmm.
visual stuff, and there's smells, and there's vestibular, like how we process movement, and there's sound. And it was like you rate it how much you like it. Okay, so you like
Hmm.
from 1 to 5. I do a lot of like rating scales, like 1 to 5, how much do you like this thing? And so it was like quiet. It was just, that was the item, quiet. And it
Hmm.
was like 1 is like terrible, I hate it, and like 5 is like I love it. And she drew in a 0 and circled 0. And I was
Take
like,
it into order. Take it
yes.
a zero.
And I
Damn.
was like,
That's not an option, girl.
no, like, no, we're off the scale here.
Hmm.
And so she's like, so I was like, you hate quiet? She's like, yeah, because I have never really even experienced quiet. Like, so she said, every time it's quiet, my ears ring, and the worst sound ever. And so I was like,
Damn.
wait, so every time everything's quiet, you feel like you can hear your ears ringing? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, what helps? She's like, when I talk. And I was like, what else helps? She's like, literally any sound. So I was like, when you're tapping on the desk, does that take away the ringing? She's like, yeah. I'm like, when you're going to talk to people, does that take away the ringing? She's like, yeah. I'm like, when you're trying to listen to your music when you're not supposed to be, is that taking away the quiet? She's like, yeah. So this girl I find out she has chronic tinnitus, right? It's constantly her ears are
Tinnitus.
ringing.
Mm.
And so I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry for you. I felt terrible. And so I actually ended up calling her mom. I'm like, did you know that her ears ring constantly? And she's like, I had no idea. And she has anxiety too, right? She has like a history of anxiety. So I start researching. There's a huge connection between chronic tinnitus and anxiety, right? And the way they treat tinnitus is through sound therapy a lot of times, right? And so she was feeding herself what she needed to cope with this terrible sensation that she was feeling. But I never would have known, right? Like I never would have known had we not done this little questionnaire. But
Mm.
so we ended up putting accommodations into
Mm.
place. Like I got her music, like I got her like accommodation for headphones and music, actually chewing gum because it was like a little bit of sound being generated, right? And just, you know, giving her opportunities to not have quiet. And she did end up getting a consult with an ENT. That was like at the end of the school year, so I don't even know what happened, but just like, it was just, you know, one of those eye-opening things where she had a tab open for this terrible sound she was hearing that no one else could hear. It was invisible, like inaudible. But it was awful for her. Like, I don't know if you've ever experienced your ears ringing.
Yeah, it's terrible. And I know about
Sucks.
tinnitus, so every time my ears ring, I'm like, oh, please don't let this be permanent, you know, because I'm like, oh my God, this would be terrible. So yeah.
Now
Hey, but
imagine you're 13, right?
right, yeah.
And you struggle with learning
That's
and you
crazy.
struggle with attention and focus and your ears are ringing constantly, right? Like, so she was self-medicating and it was getting her into trouble.
Hey, but Monica, so if there's no bad behavior, then like, how do you bring in accountability, right? So
That's a
I'll
really
tell you,
good question.
I'll tell you a story. So I'm obviously, I made one video, and it was one of my most viral videos, right? And
Yeah.
it was basically a silly thing. It was basically three things that signify an annoying person, three traits of an annoying person. Okay, one was they always make the conversation about you. They cut you off, right? And then it's just about them. Number two, they complain about everything and they drain your energy, right? And number three, they always say, "I'm just being honest," you know, but they're inconsiderate. But I'm just honest, and they say whatever comes to mind, right? So I did this three traits. It got like 2-3 million views, but on the comments, people were like, "Man, this is not cool. You don't understand ADHD people. You don't understand this and that and this and that." There's a lot of neurodivergent people, right?
Yeah.
So what do you feel about that? I've spoken to one of my best friends is neurodivergent, right? And he's more like, yeah, we have a harder time dealing with it, but we still have to follow social norms. So you got to do what you can. But I don't know. What are your thoughts? Yeah. So how do that experience made me more
Yeah.
empathetic, right? I was like, but
100%.
then how do I preserve my peace too, right? Like, because if
Yeah.
I'm not peaceful and I
Yeah.
absorb that energy, like,
Yep.
where is the balance between that compassion and all that? So I don't know. I'm struggling with that, but maybe you have some color for
No,
that.
that's a really good question. And that's a whole nother vibe sesh. Probably it could be a whole.
Oh
But like,
shit, she's coming back,
Run it up.
baby. Run it
I still
up.
want to come back, but um, like I feel like I say it often that um when you find a reason, like I always say, find the why, right? Because the why
I
is
like
what
that.
drives behavior, right? Like if you need to find the why, but the reason isn't the excuse, right? It's a path forward. It's a piece of the puzzle. It's like an understanding. It's enhanced awareness, but awareness without action, like I think that's what you talked about in your last, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we are judged for our habits, not for our intentions and our goals. So I think finding the why is just the first step. And
Mm.
so often with kids, when people, first of all, I have this thing that I do. It's called like 5P, but it's like a process for helping with kids. And the first one is just like you're present, you get the kid regulated, you get them to calm down, right? And that's usually where behavior intervention stops. Like a child does something, and once they stop losing their mind and calm down enough, they get like a punishment or they get some kind of consequence or whatever happens. And like, oh, we'll do a point sheet and you can earn a reward to not do that again next time. But they don't go any further, right? Like usually the
Mm.
intervention stops because once the child stops being uncomfortable for the adult, we can stop our intervention because like we're okay now. Like, 'cause you shut up, right? Like you stop
Oof.
screaming. You know what I mean? Like you
Mm-hmm.
stopped screaming, you stopped making my life hard, you stopped, you know, triggering me because so
Mm.
often kids' behaviors are triggering adults. Like the adult feels out of control, the adult feels disrespected, the adult feels right. Like
Mm-hmm.
so once that behavior stops, the adult's like, whew, that's over. Let's move on with our life, right? But really, that's when you need to start with a child is once they've calmed down, right? That's where you got to start. And that's where you start processing and you figure out like, what were you feeling? What was happening? What, I have this thing called, if you look up, you don't have to look at it now, but like, it's called, if you go to thefeelingsfinder.com, it's like a
Mm-hmm.
free app. Um, it helps kids understand like what they're feeling, but then like where they're feeling it in their bodies. And it's essentially like a decentering practice for kids, like a super basic one. But
Mm-hmm.
we do a lot of processing, like how did you feel when you woke up this morning? How did you feel? Blah, 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 and we get to where they were and we process. So that's like the second P. And then the third one is problem solving.
Mm.
You work through and figure out, okay, like this is what happened. This is what I needed. So this is why it occurred. But like it didn't work. I kicked my friend in the head. I screamed at somebody, whatever. Um, I threw a chair. That all things that have
I
happened.
drop kicked
Things
him.
that have happened. Yeah, yeah.
WWF, bro.
All things that have happened. A lot of chair throwing, but I hit somebody in the eye with a pencil. That didn't work for you. That was, and you had a problem. You had a need. You did this thing. Didn't work, right? Like we need to
Mm-hmm.
figure out something for next time.
Mm.
And then that's where you kind of go into two different directions. One is you put a support in place. It's like a top down support. It's like, this is a strategy I'm going to use next time. And then the other thing is we call bottom up. It's like, oh wait, I need to like build up these skills. I need to like work on these things so
Mm.
that I can do that thing next time and not hurt someone, right? Like not
Mm.
throw a chair. So like
Mm-hmm.
it's both. So like with therapy, it's you have top down, which is like, I'm going to use this strategy, a cognitive strategy kind of thing, or use the support or accommodation, or bottom up, it's like, I'm going to put in the work every day and build these skills, right? I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
grow my capacity.
Mm.
So and then the next P is like, you do some kind of pro-social action, right? You do
Mm-hmm.
something to kind of give good faith. Like if you hurt somebody, you're going to maybe apologize. Maybe you're going to go get them an ice pack. Maybe you're going to help
Mm-hmm.
them, pick up their crayons that you threw
Mm-hmm.
across, or whatever it is, right? Like we're
Mm-hmm.
going to do, when they're calm, when they're chill, when they've reflected,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to do something pro-social. And then the last one
Yeah.
is like, you praise them. You give them specific feedback. You thank that. A lot of times kids who are neurodivergent don't like to be praised, right? Like or who have had a
Interesting.
lot of trauma, they don't like praise. They're like they're
Wow.
like they don't believe it about themselves, I think, and they're just like like yeah, they don't believe it. So
Mm.
I always thank kids as a form of praise. I'm like, thank you so much for blah blah, right? Like, but so those are kind of like I call like the five
Wow, that's
E's.
interesting because some people don't take compliments well.
No,
That's
they sure don't.
interesting.
Sometimes you will
That's a
trigger.
neurodivergent person if they don't take
Yeah,
compliments
or
well. Is that?
kid. I've noticed that with kids who have trauma history too. Not
Wow.
just neuro. I actually have noticed it more with kids who really struggle with trauma and behavior. Is that they
Really?
a
Because I
lot
know
of
so
times.
many adults that I've met through this journey, and like, because I compliment people, you know what I mean? Like, I see the best in people, and and when I compliment somebody, I'm not lying, right? Like, feel a certain
Yeah,
vibe, and like, yo, bro, you're cool. I like your vibe. And they're like, huh, huh? They get
yeah,
very weird about it.
yeah.
Wow.
It's a
Sometimes they
Wow.
conflict
don't
with the
believe it,
self-image.
What's that,
right?
Cisco?
It's a conflict with their self-image.
One
Mm.
million percent. You also said something last thing, like when I was tuning in on Monday night, and it was like genius. You said, wait, I'm gonna try to get it right. You correct me, okay?
Okay,
I
I'll
think you
try. I don't know
said
if I'm gonna remember.
I think
Okay.
you said that language was technology of the ego. Did you say that?
That's Cisco.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Like
damn.
I wish I had a
Dude, you
mic, I
need
would
to.
drop it.
Trademark.
Oh my god.
Bro, did you post this on your
And
thing or
is
no,
that
bro?
original Cisco quote? Is that
I I haven't heard it. I thought of it
It's
myself. So
original. It's
no, that's
original.
genius. That's genius. That's thank you for that, by the way. That like made my
I'll
whole night.
accept
I was
that
like,
praise. Thank you. That's
um,
Thank you.
that was another tangent. But no,
But
genius. That was absolutely brilliant. My best friend's like a speech language, but I have two best friends. One is a speech language pathologist, and she would appreciate that as well. But it is true. It is true.
Amazing.
Monica, so what's your answer about the
Oh,
video that, yeah, like, so what do I do in that kind of situation? Can I keep making those videos, or is that insensitive, or
no,
like, I'm,
I think
yeah.
no, I think if you're annoying, right? Like
All
I mean,
right, good.
but okay, so let me give you an example. Kids who struggle with working memory, ADHD is
Hmm.
largely I think most people who have that diagnosis struggle with working memory. Whether it's, people would say like, oh, is their computer screen just smaller, right? Do they have less capacity for working memory? I think they just have more tabs open, so by default they have less space, right? That's just kind of what I think. But by and large, the research shows that working memory deficits are characteristic of ADHD.
Hmm.
And a lot of times, okay, so think about this. Think about somebody who just interrupts all the time.
Hmm.
It's so often it's because they are worried they're going to forget what they have to say, right? And so they
Mm.
interrupt
That's
because
you,
they feel like
I
Cisco?
do that.
that's
You
I
do
do
me.
it to
that,
like my
Cisco?
brother and shit. But
I
sorry,
feel
I
like I'm
interrupted
annoying.
right now.
No, you're good. You please interrupt. Like I feel like I've been interrupting this whole time. That's me.
Wow, this is amazing. We can just interrupt each other. That's amazing. Yeah, that's freeing actually. Let's all just be. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. Let's just accept. Is that the attitude?
No,
No, no, no. That's
No,
not.
no.
no. So like,
Okay.
so what I'll do with kids, because think about, I've got a group of therapy students, and like we're working on it. So I'm like trying to teach them or like have them like sometimes I always have something planned, but like then they'll bring their work, and I try to do things like contextualized learning is the best learning, right? So like
Hmm.
bring your stupid boring shit you don't want to do, and now we'll work on strategies to get you through it to help you like learn how to get through this. But um these kids are just like going off about all, and like no one's on topic, right? Like everybody's like talking about their own thing, and people are interrupting this and that. So what I do is I have them draw a plate. Like I have a table, and it's you can wipe it off. So we
Hmm.
draw on the table a lot. So I'll have them draw a play button and a pause button. And so I'll be like, and I'll give them all like a little rock or whatever. And I'll be like,
Hmm.
okay, so right now we're gonna pause our talking. And sometimes I have a quiet light. We'll turn on the quiet light. It's like a little tap light, and it's like the quiet light's on. So like I'm saying something, or whoever has the quiet light is talking, right? Like,
Hmm.
so we'll do that. And then if they feel like they're about to derail the whole shit, like they derail everything, I'll be like, wait, pause, and we'll write down what were you gonna say, and I'll write it down for them on the table. And
Mm.
then like we're gonna put this on pause right now, and then I'll tell you when you can play it, right? Like so,
Oh.
because they
Okay.
Wow.
know from YouTube, they know what play and pause buttons look like from YouTube.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times it's just a little visual for them. It's acknowledging that you have something important to say and you can't hold it. You're going to forget.
Wow.
You're
Right.
definitely going to forget it, because I know
Mm.
that from
Hmm.
experience. And I do that too.
Uh,
But so that's just like an example of a strategy, right? Like, so no, you can't hit somebody because you're angry. Every emotion has a function.
all right.
And I
Right.
have a
Hmm.
chart in my room
Hmm.
that says
Right.
all the functions of every emotion, even the painful ones.
Yeah. Hey,
Right.
but Monica, what about like if I saw a video today that went viral, and it was a woman saying like, I think she was talking in the context of a relationship, right? But she was just saying like, if you get triggered, no matter what the other person is doing, if you get triggered, it's not about them. It's about
Right.
you. Is that
Yeah.
true? Well, you think that's true?
Yeah. I do. I really think
One
that's
minute.
true.
Wow, really? So
Yeah.
anytime it's always about you, not the other person.
Yeah, because it's your perception of what's happening, right? Like, it's your perception of what's happening.
No, but what if they are legitimate assholes? You know what
But
I
that
mean?
means that you don't like assholes,
Right.
right? That means that other assholes would probably be fine with it.
I don't know, but what if nobody's fine with an asshole? Even an asshole's not fine with an asshole,
But
no?
if it's the same kind of asshole, right? Like,
Right.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like, people,
like one man's asshole is not one man's asshole, basically, right?
correct.
Oh.
But I feel like, no,
Oh.
I feel like there is something. I have this whole checklist I developed for parent and for caregivers, for parents. It's like, when somebody does something that bothers you, what is it triggering in you, right? And it's maybe it's just like a conflict in your values, right?
Wow. Okay, conflict in the values. Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, it could be
But
like,
Uh-huh. One of my videos that went really viral as well is when I was saying that I'm single right now, right? I'm a 51-year-old man and I'm single. And I was explaining in the video that I find it funny that there's a lot of videos now of single people, older people saying, "Hey, I'm single. Oh my God, my life is good. I don't have kids. I can do whatever I want. I'm saving money." And in the comments section,
Mm-hmm.
some people are writing paragraphs like, you're selfish, or you don't know what you're missing out on, and how
Wow.
dare you, you're like whatever,
Oh,
like a billion different reasons. And I'm like, I made a video about it. I was like, hey man, you need to think about what's going on with you. This is not about me. It's about, like, it's a
yeah.
very, yeah,
Projection.
yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. I do think that is true. I think that, it's all about perception. I think I can't remember which I started following you. I can't remember which video it was. But it was a while ago. And
Mhm.
then you recently did one about a zebra. No, no, no. To the grass, the zebra's the jerk.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like the
Yeah.
zebra's
Hmm.
the villain or whatever.
Hmm.
That was
Yeah.
like that's so because I
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that with kids all the time. It's like it's all about perception. I do this activity where I put like a P or a D, just depending on where you're set. I have a kid on each side of the table, and I'll put the letter right, and then this kid's like, it's a P, and this kid's like, no, it's a D, and then I make them switch, right? And they're both right. It's just a matter of where you're at. Or I got all these like colored glasses,
Hmm.
and so like I'll have a blue piece of paper and I'll have one kid with like yellow glasses and one kid with red glasses. I'm like, what color's the paper? And this kid's like purple and this kid's like green. And they're like, would
Oh,
you bet money on that? Yes. And then they switch and they're like, no, you were right. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all about perception. It's
and you're teaching perception through that exercise.
oh,
That
one
is
million percent.
crazy,
Yeah.
bro. That is super creative.
Thanks.
Wow.
I try any way I can to, we do a lot. I have a whole like little bundle of learning
Mm,
resources I developed about what is
mm,
perception, what is perspective, and how it affects like who we are and how like two people can both be right.
mm. Cisco,
But,
you have any questions about this? This is
Yeah.
interesting.
I'm kind of curious how different things are amongst generations you're working with.
Mm. Yes,
Because,
yes.
there's
Because
like the iPad babies, and then
yeah,
there's
because that's a
maybe
great
Gen
question.
Z is the
Yeah,
max. What do you got?
yeah. Monica, because when I was growing up, it's only very recently, past few years, especially as I got involved content creating, that
yeah,
I even heard these terms: ADHD, neurodivergence. And Sully, our good friend from the other Vibe Sesh, amazing neurodivergent guy. He wrote a book about a novel about neurodivergence,
Yeah, he has
right?
Tourette's,
And
something
he
like
has
that.
Tourette's, and he's this amazing, beautiful human being,
yeah,
and he's like completely super, because of his Tourette's, he became super focused because he would like focus
yep,
on not getting the ticks.
yep,
And this turned into his superpower. Now he can, move that freaking focus energy anywhere he wants, right? And he
yeah,
just turned into this beautiful person. I talk to him all the time on WhatsApp. We leave each other. I've never met this guy in real life, but like, he's amazing. But I didn't know what this was until very recently, right? So are
yeah.
more people becoming ADHD, something happening in the world where there's more, or are we diagnosing better? Like, what's your thoughts on that whole thing?
No, I think it's always been there. We just have labels for it now. Like I really do
Mm.
think I look back at my family and I'm like, oh yeah, this, and oh yeah, that, I look back and there's that thing, there was this, I saw something, I can't, it was like a meme or something, and it was like, you know, ADHD, or no, autism didn't exist back in the day, and then, a grandma's saying like ADHD didn't exist back in the day, but no, we only use the special china on Sundays. Like, like like there's, we only do this on
Bro,
Sundays. Like,
you have to write a book, I think. This is your next book. Really, your book. Amazing stories. No, Cisco? Like, imagine this whole book of all these stories.
oh my gosh. No, but I mean, it's no, I can tell you from working with people who have I mean, like yeah, it, It's been going on for a long time. And I can tell you, because I've worked with people who are, back when I was young, in my 20s, I was working with people who were in their 50s and 60s who were autistic, right? Who were neurodivergent and just perceived the world differently and had different belief systems. And, you know, the human brain is just fascinating. I mean, just, okay, just things that popped to mind. Like, I worked with this guy who, when I was doing the DOJ work, um, I don't know what just this popped into my head, but
All kinds of
The
things
giggle.
popped in. We
really
know
have anything
the
to do with
giggle, right,
anything.
Samurai?
Doesn't
The
have
giggle.
anything to do with anything. But okay, so I would look at like all these risk factors, right? Like, so anything that related to like a therapy thing, like, so like people who choked on their food eating, or like had a lot of falls and injuries. So this guy had a lot of falls. And come to find out, there are some issues with balance and stuff like that, but he was getting like injured a lot and hospitalized for falls. But long story short, he thought he was on a modified diet. Like, he couldn't have cake. Like, he had to have certain techniques. He had problems with swallowing. So like he
Wow.
loved cake, right? Loved cake.
I
So
love
he
cake.
thought that if he walked backwards, he was invisible. So when he
Wow.
wanted cake, he would like walk backwards to the cake and like fall.
Oh my God.
I loved him so much. And
That's so unique. You can't make that shit up.
no, I
Bro,
loved
make a
him.
video about this, bro. Cisco. Dude, you gotta make videos about things like this.
Full on believed with his whole self that no one was going to catch him getting that cake if he was walking backwards. So, but it, like,
He's
love,
moonwalking away.
He's
love
moving
him.
on. It's Michael Jackson, bro. Wow.
But
Wow.
so, like, and he had all these quirky things going on, and I just, this guy was awesome. But, and to this day, when I have kids who like can't stop running in the hallways, I will give them so one of the things I wanted to do for him was give him a rear view mirror. I'm like, just hold up this mirror. If you've got to walk backwards, at least you can see, right?
Bro,
So I'm like, that was
she's the best. I want to receive a gift from her, man. She's
Yeah.
the best with gifts.
You're meeting him at
I
his
was like,
level.
you gotta like,
Love that, bro.
just,
Yeah.
if you're gonna do it, just do it safe. Like, look back there and see
Oh,
what's
Cisco, this is
going
such an
on.
important lesson, man. You said something amazing. Like, she's meeting people at their level, at their frequency.
That's my goal.
Man.
That's
Well,
my goal,
she's
is to
providing a
meet
safe
like
space
that.
of non-judgment, which everyone struggles with because they're fucking judged.
Thank you. That's why literally my account's called Open Mind. With
Bro,
Open
this is
Mind.
what Vibe Session is all about, bro. It's all
That's what
connecting, bro.
my whole program, my book is called Open Mind. That's my program, right? Because, like, we judge people within 1/100th of a
Mm,
second.
mm, mm,
We make a judgment about, okay, this is crazy. We make a judgment about a person's character.
mm.
Mainly what they've researched is whether somebody's trustworthy or untrustworthy
Okay, okay.
within 1/100th of a millisecond of seeing their face.
Damn, I gotta make a video about this. What?
So,
Say it again.
okay, so
1 million.
we make a judgment about a person's character.
Mm-hmm,
Typically, the research studies on whether somebody's trustworthy or not
mm-hmm.
within 100 milliseconds of seeing their face. So we have already judged whether this person's good or bad, right? Like, everything that have, you want to get into the neuro behind it, like, to simplify the neuro part,
Mm-hmm.
every sensory stimulus that comes into our consciousness, you've heard of the amygdala, right? A lot of people talk about the amygdala and the hippocampus. We basically, that their job is to put it into a box. It's good or bad, right? So if you think about high energy with anticipation, if you're putting that into a good box, that's like excitement. If you're putting that
Mm.
into a bad box, that's like nervous or anxious, right? Still high
Yes.
energy, it's still anticipation, but one's in a good box, one's in a bad box, right? And so I think it's like we're constantly making these judgments. And so because we're trying to conserve energy, because our primary goal as a human being, even though we think we're so evolved, is just to survive.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to save time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how bias comes into play, right? Is sorry, we're trying to save time, and we say like, this part of this experience right now in the past has been bad, so we're just going to take it, we're going to, just to be safe, we're going to say this is bad too, right? So that's where that comes into play, that bias, that judgment, that why we judge so quick. It's just a matter of survival.
Mm-hmm. Sister, do you have any questions?
As of right now, no, not at this point.
But Monica, let me ask you something. So I've been reading, you know, Robert Sapolsky?
I don't think
Oh,
so.
amazing. You
But
gotta
talk
read
more
some.
about it.
Yeah, but so he has one idea. I'll DM you his books and name, but he has this one idea, right? That really, he said that empathy becomes easier when the chain of causality gets longer.
Okay. Yeah.
So he's saying, like, so for example, someone screams at a cashier. 5 seconds back, he looks like an asshole.
Yep.
5 hours back, he hasn't slept or eaten and lost his job.
Yep.
5 years back, he has been caring for a parent with dementia.
Yep.
50 years back, he learned that fear had to become anger because sadness got him humiliated.
Yep.
What do you
100%.
what do you think
No.
about that? But then, like, how do we hold people
So
accountable? And what does even
so
accountability
but
mean?
listen, that's what okay, so
Wow.
first of all, there's a term for that. It's called fundamental attribution error, right? Or
Okay.
correspondence bias,
Hmm.
is when we attribute someone's actions to their character instead of their circumstances, right? So I always use that example of road rage, right? Someone cuts you off and you're immediately like, asshole, can't wait, impatient. You're giving them all these labels, right? Because they just kind of threatened you and your safety, and they cut you off, and it looks like they're just trying to get there first, right? But I always give this example. What if they just got a call that their loved one was in the emergency room and they might not make
Mm,
it? 5 more minutes, and they're trying to get there, right? To make sure they're there before the person passes, right? So we do that with people all damn day. We do that with people all the time. We attribute their actions to their character, but that's not fair. It's that 100 millisecond and 100
Mm-hmm.
100 milliseconds or whatever that we're attribute, like we're just seeing the thing and then we're making the easiest, quickest
mm,
assumption, right? Whereas if we can a big part of mindfulness too is, I call it like regret prevention. So you're seeing that somebody's doing something and you're having that compassion, you're having that empathy, you're having that what if, right? What if they're, and I always say that, like, what if they're on the way,
mm-hmm,
right, to go and do something that's way more important than whatever you're doing now. You're going to the grocery store or whatever.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so I think it's I think it's that awareness of I always try to keep that awareness in mind, that that there's a possibility that what you're seeing as somebody who's being rude or
Mm,
inconsiderate is just
mm-hmm.
struggling. They're just in pain.
But hey, Monica, so this for you, it must be, tell me how you feel. Do you feel like because you've seen everything, you understand how everything works? It's one of those things, right? Once you see it, you can't unsee it, right? Like,
Yeah.
so for you, when you see in the shopping mall, wherever there's a kid and a parent, the parent's frustrated and they're yelling at them and this and that, like, or the child is behaving a certain, do you like see everything? And it seems like you understand everybody's side, like the kid's side, the parent side, and so you're like just this aware Buddha girl, like you must be understanding of everything, or like what's going on
I
in your
mean,
mind, because you've seen already so much, so you look at any situation, you're like, oh, okay, I think I know what's going on. Right? I mean, it's almost like a
yeah.
curse. Yeah. Uh-huh.
No, but also like it's 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 harder the closer it is to me, right? I feel like I can do that professionally, and I feel like I'm somewhat proficient at that. But when it gets close, right? When it's someone I love that's being hurt by said person,
Mm,
it becomes way harder, right? Because then that's all the bias of me wanting to protect said person I love, and me being more quick to jump to erring on the side of protecting the person I love than being open-minded and correct necessarily about the person's intentions, right? So I
Man,
feel like, and
that's
I've
honest.
made mistakes. I make
Mm-hmm.
mistakes all the time,
Yeah,
and I
that's
do know, like,
honest.
have you seen that the video I did with like the matches in a row?
Mm-mm.
Sometimes when I'm like philosophical, like I feel like I don't get a lot of engagement. I'm like,
Matches
oh,
in a row.
try
I'll go check it
tossing a
out.
hula hoop through a ball through a hula hoop. Oh, I get like a lot. But then like sometimes I feel like I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
got this like profound idea, and I'm like,
Or you get very poetic. We got to go over some of your stories after you finish. I want to go over some story. Yeah. Hmm.
but I think like when there, have you ever had a person that just triggered you? Like there's a certain
Hmm.
person that just pissed you
JM
off.
Cisco. Hmm. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's happened
So
recently. Yeah. Hmm.
and I think that because when that happens, like it doesn't, like what they do doesn't exist in a vacuum. So there's like this thing with a match, right? And then I have this like whole row of matches. And when they do, it doesn't just like light you up, like what they did. It like catches all of every other thing they've ever done,
Uh-huh.
every characteristic about them that you don't like in anyone else, or anything they stand for that you also can't stand in other issues of your life, like all of that gets inflamed, right? It's this, so like where it should be just like a
Wow, that is
matchstick,
interesting.
right?
Hmm.
It's now a bonfire because you've just like all the fuel of all your bias has just been poured in, including with that person. Like I feel like a lot of times when somebody makes us angry, we don't just get angry at what they've done just now. It's like everything they've ever done, which isn't
Mm.
really fair to them, right? But I think that a lot of times it's hard to separate, and some people just dump a lot of fuel and fire.
You're
Like,
right, JM, right? This guy, I don't want to shout out JM, but this guy.
sorry about JM. No, I have a couple of JMs in my life, and it's like they have
Right.
hurt
But now you're
people
making me
I
think,
love.
Monica. Monica, you're making
Yeah.
me think. I'm like, why was I so triggered by that? But here's the thing. I really felt like I was super patient with this guy. Like, if it wasn't for he was part of the Vibe Sesh community on X, right? And I was actually, Monica, to my credit, I was more patient than I normally ever would have because I was like, he's part of the community. Other people seem to like him, but he's very disruptive. He's rude to women, for example. Like a woman comes on stage and
He's
you know,
argumentative,
yeah,
not in good faith
argumentative.
or
Or he was
conversation.
one woman came on board and she said, forget anyway. I mean, but you know what I mean? Like, there were legitimate reasons, and I was patient. And then I got the community involved, and I was like, listen, we can't keep doing this. He's like treating women this way. I'm going to kick him out. Right. Like, but so there are boundaries, though. Where do
Yeah.
boundaries fit into all this, Monica?
I mean, ooh, that's a good one. Um, I think we just have to get, well, part of it is being comfortable with like being uncomfortable, right? Like, I think,
Mm.
and a lot of it is just, so let me just tell you a story. I had actually I did a reel about this a while ago, but,
Okay.
um, okay, my son, he's just got his driver's license this week,
Mhm.
which is also he's at the movies right now with his girlfriend, and I'm always just like, oh, he just started driving by himself without me in the car. But when he first started driving in Florida, you have to have your permit for a whole year before
Oh,
you can get
wow. Okay.
your like. Where are you, by the way?
I'm in Brazil right now, but I grew
You
up in
are
New
in
York.
what? Okay, and where in
Yeah.
Cisco?
Massachusetts.
Okay. Brazil. Damn. Okay. So that's awesome. So he's driving and somebody cuts him off, right? And he's like he slams on the brakes and then he's like upset. And I'm like he's like I was like you got to stop. You got to stop a little bit sooner next time, like you almost hit him. He did. We almost, and I was in a really bad car accident in 2018, like a really bad car accident that still I feel the effects of today, right? And he was with me. He was actually in the back. And luckily, his younger brothers weren't in the car because we were on the way to get them because the whole back, we had a minivan, the whole back was totaled. The whole back was crushed in up to where he was. So, like, thank God we hadn't gotten them yet. But it was a thing, right? And I think it's why he, like, waited a little bit to get his permit. But
Mm.
anyway, he almost hit the guy. And I was like, you got to stop sooner. He's like, but it was his fault. And I said, but it's not your job. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. Your only goal is to not crash. And I was like,
Mm.
the only way in this situation to be right is to not crash. I was
Right.
like, yes, he was wrong, but his wrongness doesn't affect your
Yeah.
rightness. Like,
Yeah.
and that's I think my biggest
No,
thing. I think the
yeah.
takeaway, and we've had many conversations since then because he's gotten into things with people and they've been wrong and they've pissed him off. And like there are some times when you just can't use logic and reason, even when somebody's wrong, right? Like morally, ethically, just logically wrong. They're not going to see it, and you're just going to harm yourself if you keep trying to convince them.
Yeah.
So I think the
Great
biggest
analogy.
teaching, one of the biggest teachings I'm trying to teach my kids, and I'm still learning myself, is like, just because someone's wrong, it doesn't affect your rightness, and sometimes you just have to let it go and let them do their thing, and just just like kind of come back to your, just not, I'm not saying like cut them out, because sometimes that's not an option, right? um, but, and I think that's kind of a cop out too. Like I think there's like that Lotus thing, right? There's something to living with people like that around you.
Damn, man, Cisco, what do you think about this? It's a damn. That's another level. Monica is that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, some of my most popular videos. My God, like just bad messages or something. I said access
No.
denied. Access denied was one of my best videos. I was like, hey man, like if somebody's annoying you on, especially online, I block in like less than half a
Yeah.
second. Block,
No,
block,
but
block.
sometimes that's a, sometimes that's necessary too, right? But I'm
Mm.
saying like, yeah, sometimes you just have to
But I get you.
realize,
Like, yeah,
yeah,
like you can't
you
give
just
up
have
too
to let
easily.
them
Yeah.
think that they are who they are. Let go
Mm.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead. You're right. Go ahead. So
Mhm.
I think that, yeah. So I think boundaries are important, and then just sometimes conceding to that. Like I don't
Mm.
need external validation. I don't need that person to believe me,
Mm.
for me to
Mm.
believe
Yeah.
myself. I guess that's
Yeah.
it. Like I don't need you
Yeah.
to believe me for me to believe myself,
Right.
right? Like, me believing myself
Amazing.
is enough, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Monica, so we're approaching the 2 hour mark. I'm thinking like Cisco, what would you like? Do you want to hear her? Let me see. There was a very interesting. Do you want to hear the moth story, or would you like Monica to lead us in a loving kindness meditation?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I did see the moth reel. I
Mm.
think a meditation though would be a good state change, and we
Okay.
could ask the eternal loop
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Can I
we'll
ask
wrap it
you a
up.
at the
question?
conclusion of the meditation.
Yes.
Can I
Good one.
ask you a question about the moth thing though?
All right. Let's talk
Because
about the moth. You seem
no,
like
no,
you
no,
want
no.
to talk about the
I'll
moth.
do the loving kindness meditation. It's
No, but
super
we can talk
simple.
about the moth. Yeah, we can talk about the
No, no.
moth if you
I
want.
will do, no, because I want to do what Cisco wants to do.
Okay.
Um, when you watch the moth thing, what did you ultimately, like? If you had to boil it all down, what would you think
Mm.
it's about?
Mm. Good question.
Because I'm just
Uh,
curious. Because it didn't get like a lot of engagement, but when I explained it to my two kids who are teenagers, I explained it to them, and they both came up with this, like, I didn't say this word in the video or in the
Mm-hmm.
caption, but
Mm-hmm.
they both came up with this one word that they said it was about.
Mm-hmm.
And but did you have like did anything resonate with you about like what the artificial light represent, and the moss circling around represented? What did you like?
well, what I
Mm.
remember is you were saying that moths they fly backwards against the light to
Yeah.
see in front of them, but
Yes.
then
Mm-hmm.
So like
artif-
people used to think like they fly toward the light. Like I'm attracted to the light. Like I
yeah.
need the light. I want to like go to the light. But really they use the light as like a beak, as like a guide, right? So like they use it as a tool. Like they put their backs to it, and that tells them which way is up. So if their backs are to the light, then they're flying straight, right? Like they know which
Yep.
way is up and down. It teaches them
Mm-hmm.
which way is up and down. But when they see an artificial light, they just start getting like trapped because
Mm-hmm.
it's not really the way. It's not really the up, right? Not really
Mm-hmm.
the up.
Yeah, it's like a whirlpool taking you in, and then you were relating it to social media consumption, I believe. Like, so you're just a moth kind of staying in one place. I would say like a hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
On anyone?
I would say hamster wheel's good. I would say distraction for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Both of my kids said addiction, said the word addiction. And
Oh,
I was like,
damn.
what? Yes, because yes. First of all, yes. Because anything we do that we consider to be a way up, that we depend on, that we get sucked
Uh,
into. And I was like, whoa, they both said
Yeah.
on separate. I wasn't even talking to them together, right? Like I was talking to them
wow.
separate. And
So,
they
so,
both,
hmm
That's
and I was
crazy.
like, whoa, like
both of them said that.
addiction.
That's
Both of
amazing.
them, 14 and 17. And I was like, whoa, okay. So I was just curious if like that, because I actually, after
Mm.
I stepped back and thought about it, I was like, that could actually be, I was thinking of screen addiction. I was like how people get sucked in, right? Mindless, like
Mm.
consumption. Like you said,
Mm.
consumption, right? Of social
Hmm.
media.
Hmm.
But it can become like an addiction. But anyway,
I,
I was just,
I, I fe- I feel like I'm addicted to AI, but I feel like it's a good addiction, Monica. Like I feel like because it's expanding my mind. I don't know if I'm justifying myself, but like I
no,
talk a lot to AI, and I feel like I am the vibe samurai, large part due to my conversations with AI.
really?
Yes, yes,
See, I'm
yeah,
like an AI virgin. Like I know I am. And I had this
bro.
conversation. I'm in a book club and I had this
Mhm.
conversation. Everybody's like, what? You've never used ChatGPT? I'm like, never.
You,
Never. I've
Wow.
never, I'm a virgin. I
hey,
don't know. So I make
Monica,
that.
Monica, it is. I am a million percent sure if you really went deep with ChatGPT, you would love it. You would
Okay.
love it. You would
Okay.
you would become another person. Your life would be transformed. I'm sure your life is good, but whatever it is it's like such an amplifier if you're using it correctly, or at least I'm thinking I'm using it correctly. I am.
Research,
Yeah.
ideas, connections between ideas.
Brainstorming. Like everything about
Wow.
this vibe sesh, I've talked about you with AI a long
What?
time. Yeah. To
What?
really get me, I have a whole preparation thing for every
Stop.
guest, right? So I'm like spending 2 days, 3 days. What do you think about her? Or what do you think happened when she was a kid? Or why would she say that? Or what's going on? And it's all in my head. And then by the
Yeah.
time I go in there, I can pull on different things from my head, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, AI has been amazing. And it's interesting, but good. You're not like super anti AI. Some of our special guests are
No.
like, nah, This
No,
is-
I haven't used it, but I mean, I'm, I just haven't used it, right? Like I
Mhm.
just haven't. I haven't.
You busy
But
girl.
I'm
Yeah.
not, no shade, like no judgment. Like
All
listen,
right. Yeah.
I
Oh.
just I know there's great, like I love your account, so obviously I love
Yeah, there you
AI.
go. It's a team. All right, let's do the meditation. What do you think? Let's end that off. This was amazing vibe sesh, bro. Cisco, I think this was our best vibe sesh
Oh,
ever.
Oh,
so
thank
much
you.
wisdom, man.
So
Oh
much.
my God,
So
I
good.
love you guys. Thank you so much.
Wow, so good. Yeah, like end us off with a great. So loving kindness. Can you give us like I hear a lot about it, but I've never really. I haven't done it a lot, right? Like I remember kind of vague, but remind
Yeah,
us of what loving kindness is. Why do you talk about it? Like why is it important? And then maybe lead us to a guidance.
yeah.
Hmm.
So, it's really about and there's tons. I mean, it sounds woo woo, like oh, just love and peace. No, no. There's like
Hmm.
so much research on the benefits of loving
Mm.
kindness, not only for psychological well being, but physiological. They've done like where they look at heart rate variability and
Mm.
all these kind of risk factors health wise that get
Hmm.
improved by loving kindness meditation. And there's tons of research showing that even if you're loving kindness in action, like doing kind acts, um, people actually have more health benefits when they do kind acts for others than when they do kind acts for themselves. Like people like talk
Mm.
about self-care and all this. Well, research shows that people have more benefits when they do kind acts for others, right? That are just kind of anonymously kind, not like I did
Interesting.
this thing and now
Mm.
I'm gonna talk about it. But yeah. So
Interesting. Hmm.
you really just with kids, I do it with like the preschool program I did, like you do kind of a little mantra, right? So may you be loved, may you be free, may you feel joy, may you have peace, or whatever. Like just like a little kind of mantra that they do. And
Mm-hmm.
and the way they do it in the research protocols is you start out with yourself, right? So may
Mm.
you be loved, may you have peace, may you feel joy, may you be free, whatever it is. And you kind of do that and you say it toward yourself, right? And then the second progression is you kind of send loving kindness to somebody that you love, like somebody super close to you, right? Because that's very easy to do. And then the next progression is you kind of send loving kindness to somebody who's hurting or somebody who's suffering, which is really compassion. That's the difference between kindness and compassion. Kindness is like, we're both, going to leave the building and I'm just going to hold the door open for you because that's kind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Compassion is when I see you hobbling down in a knee brace and I'm going to stop and I'm running late, but I'm going to like hold the door for you because I can see that you're suffering, right? So that's
Oh,
compassion.
interesting.
It's like a little
Mm-hmm.
bit
Mm-hmm.
different. So like the
Mm-hmm.
third one, you're kind of sending loving kindness to somebody who's hurting or somebody who's having a hard time. And then there's like another aspect where you're sending loving kindness to somebody who you think might just need it, right? Somebody in the world who, like nurses, I feel like just kind of need teachers, right? Like they're just
Mm-hmm.
in it. They're in it.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the trenches. They're
Mm-hmm.
not making a
So
lot of
when
money.
so
They're
when you're
doing
sending compassion, you're thinking, and you're like, what are you actually doing to send that
yeah,
compassion? You're
you're
just.
you're either just if you are a language person and you are you want to say kind of the mantra, like
Mm-hmm.
so may you I always say like may you be loved, um may you be free, right? Because I there's some people who will say like may you be healthy, but like what if you're not healthy? You can still be free and not be healthy. So I always say like right?
Getting
And
deep. Mm-hmm.
or if I have a lot of times people one of the things I'll do is like it's when people are hurting or people you miss. So I'll have kids who have lost a parent or lost
Mm.
someone and they send loving kindness, so like not healthy, but maybe free, right? So kind of like may you be loved, may you be free, like may you
Right.
have joy,
Mm-hmm.
may you have peace. So like all of those things, those like immeasurables in Buddhism, like the immeasurables, right? um and so you can either, oh, and so then the next one is you kind of, this is the hardest one. And I remember I was in a training during COVID. I did this whole series of trainings for people who were doing nonprofit work, like service related work on stress management. And like, how do you, when you're serving others, how do you take care of yourselves? But and I remember I had somebody tell me like this next one is you send loving kindness to people you cannot. You're JM. You're sending loving kindness to
Oh
JM.
no, I can't do it.
Damn.
I
Yeah.
can't do it. I can't freaking do it. Whoa, I was with you this whole time, but then you said, I was like, oh wow, the
That's a blind
immediate,
side.
bro, the immediate reaction, literally, like from a physical level, I was like, no,
Visceral,
like it was
like,
like,
no,
Access denied
oh
right there.
wow, that is
extra time.
crazy.
But JM needs, I guarantee you, JM needs some love. I guarantee you,
You're right. You're
JM
right.
needs some love. And
JM,
then
I
the
love you,
last one
bro.
is like the whole world, right? So, but I was in this training, and this person that was on the training said, we did it, and it was like a couple weeks later after we did the whole series of loving kindness. She's like, and she told, and like we were talking, it was like a lot of sharing, right? And she's like, I know exactly who I'm going to do. There's this like person in my homeowners association. He's the worst, and he's done it. He was JM. He was her JM, right? JM. No word of a lie. Like 3 weeks later, we were like sharing, and she's like, I have to, like, this beginning of the freaking training session, because like when I tell you that this group was special, 21 sessions, and we had people who attended every single one. There were some
Wow.
people, it was set up to a
Oh.
nonprofit I worked for. I was leading the sessions, but like there were people that attended every single session. That's crazy. 21 consecutive sessions. But this woman says, she was like in tears. She's like, so basically at the very beginning, she's like, JM died. Like she's like, JM just passed away. It was unexpected. She's like,
No, Jam. Now I'm
no,
feeling it, bro. Bro, I didn't
no,
mean
actually,
to be alive.
her JM passed away. And she's like, if I had been in a place of like hating him,
Mm.
she's like, I would feel terrible right now. But because I was doing that practice where I was trying to like send him love, even though
Interesting.
trigger, she's like, I would be it's sad, but she's like, thank goodness I had done this, right? Like,
Mm.
because I would feel even worse right now if he had passed while I was hating him, and I had just started this
Mm.
practice of trying to like love him. Do you know what I mean? So
No.
like, I don't want anything to happen to actual JM.
Oh no,
No,
I'm
no,
feeling bad about stuff.
he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
No,
Is
no,
he? Is he?
It's just to certain people, let's just say. But
no. No, I'm a woman. Like I probably know who exactly the kind of person you're speaking of. But but no, I think with loving kindness, if you can start out with that,
Mm,
right? So
amazing. Cisco, before we end, do you have any questions for Monica or anything else you want to say about this vibe session? It was amazing.
yeah, so we typically do this question at the conclusion. It's called the internal loop.
okay.
I don't know where it comes from. You need to remind me, Bruno.
I
But
don't remember. Just keep going.
we already got the Viktor Frankl thing wrong, so I don't know.
You didn't conclude with Viktor Frankl, did you?
No. Thank goodness we
No,
did it.
no.
We were
But
defrauded.
basically, eternal loop. We basically like to ask this question, like, what is one experience that if for the rest of your life, this one experience, and you're going to enjoy it, you're going to be happy about it, you're not going to get sick of it. What is one looping experience that you could have eternally?
Oh my gosh, that's a really good question. Oh man.
Think about it. Just take a few seconds. Go ahead. I really
Yeah.
want you to answer. Like, think about it. It's forever. You're gonna be so present that you don't even. There's no concept of time. So this whole. Some people say, "Am I gonna get tired of it?" No, you're not gonna get tired of it. But you have to pick that one experience that you're gonna put on repeat for the rest of your life. What is it? And the answers are so interesting depending on the person. It's crazy, but I'm curious
Yeah.
about.
I'd have to say I don't like I don't know if it's like necessary like there have been a couple of these
Mm-hmm.
times when all four of my children and my husband have all been at the same table
Mm-hmm.
and we've like laughed till we cried. And I think that would be it. I think that would be
Mm,
it. I think that and then we all just like got it. You know, we were all there. We were all totally there, laughing until we cried. I think that's it. That's it. Sometimes it was like we were playing cards or we're like reminiscing or we're talking about a situation that happened or but there have been those rare moments where we all laughed till we cried and I think that's it.
that's beautiful.
The rare moments. Oh, amazing. Oh, you know what's so interesting, Monica? Some guests like it's such a question that they like either joke around about it or they're like, no, I would get tired. You know, like that. But
Yeah.
your answer, wow, that's amazing. That's
Oh.
amazing.
What's yours?
Me?
Yeah. Or
Mm,
sisters.
I'm in my loop right now. No,
I
I
I'm
see.
got
being serious. I'm
okay.
being serious. This is
Okay.
my happy place. Every Monday and Wednesday, I was gonna actually start off the show with this, but like this is my happy place. Literally, this is where I feel that like the most present, and just it feels familiar, and it just
Yeah.
feels like belonging, and it's so warm and
Yeah.
cozy, and you're amazing.
Um,
Like I'm making these connections, and the fact that social media and all this stuff could do this, like in what
yeah.
other world would we have met Monica, right? Like and be on
Yeah.
the stage, all three of us together. That is crazy that technology is able to help us do this, right? So
It
yeah, I'm
is.
in my loop.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome. What about you, Cisco? What's yours?
I'd say I'm in a similar boat with experiencing like true presence with family, things
Mm.
like, especially with like a beautiful naturistic
Yeah.
view, like Portugal or when we went to Hawaii. Like there was just those. The past doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. It's just
Woo!
right now. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So
awesome. That's
that would be one of
awesome.
mine.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much. This is awesome.
Monica, this is amazing, Monica. You're crazier than I thought. You're hysterical, amazing, guys. Thank you very much,
The world's
Monica,
got
for
to
sure.
see you more. You should flip the
Yes.
camera.
More camera, more Monica, man.
Yeah.
You gotta do
Maybe
this.
even live
Yeah.
stream, you know. People probably have so many questions that they can ask you, or they can
Yeah.
up and speak to you. Like, we recommend the live. You did great today. And I think
Yeah.
Thank you.
the flow state for 2 hours. It was just
Thank you. I'm not, like I said,
best.
I'm not comfortable in front of the camera, so this was fun. Thank you.
Awesome. All
It
right,
made me feel
Monica. I'll
very
see you on that
comfortable.
time. Yeah. Awesome. All
Awesome.
right, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys next time, next Monday. Have a great night. Peace.
Thank you.